Check 1 2. 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 Let's see. Do. All right. Black Vodka in the building. DJ Launchpad, welcome into the stream. Let me get this updated right here. Let's go. Welcome in. David's in the building. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the stream. Let me get some things flowing here. Let's see. Heisenbeeren or something like that. Thank you for tapping in the stream. Lotus Ray, welcome into the stream. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Cup Noodles, welcome in. Kobe Style, appreciate y'all being here. Y'all tap the screen, share out the live with a few people. We're going to get rolling with some music here in just a little bit. It's going to be another short stream today. We're probably going to get through only like 6 songs, nothing too crazy. Griffin, I appreciate you tapping in as well. If y'all are coming in for the first time over on TikTok or the Red app or Purple app, let me know where y'all are joining from, as well as if you make music. Let me know what kind of music you make. Talk to me about music a little bit before we get things rolling here. Brain Angels, thank you for tapping in. Cup Noodles, thank you so much for the rose. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for your generosity. But y'all, let me know where y'all are joining from. Let me know if you make music, and if you do, what kind of music do you make? And we'll get rolling here in a bit. Is it Isla? Thank you so much for tapping in. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you for being here. Ethiopia, thank you for tapping in as well. I appreciate y'all hopping into the stream. J Star's in the building. What's up, J Star? How are you feeling today? What's going on here? Clean that up. Favorite band is Shine Down. Let's go. Isla, do you make music yourself? Have you ever tried to make music yourself? Jasmine's in the building. What's up, Jasmine? Josh is in the building. Welcome in, Josh. I appreciate you being here. Y'all keep tapping the screens, share out the live with a few people. We'll get rolling with some music here in just a little bit. We'll be breaking down y'all's songs. We'll be diving into some of y'all's music here. We'll get into some consultations here in just a couple minutes. I'll explain the entire structure of the live stream here in just a few. In the meantime, let me know where you're from. Let me know if you make music, what kind of music you make, and we'll get rolling with some music in a minute. Josh, I appreciate you as well. I see that. I think it was a share. Thank you for that so much. Serena, Vivi, welcome in. Ethan, welcome in. Thank y'all for tapping into the stream. I appreciate y'all being here. We're going to get rolling in just a couple minutes. I'll probably get some people up on the board from yesterday as well, because we had a couple people that we had to save when we closed up the live yesterday. Your happy friend, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. I'm so grateful to have a happy friend. Johnny Rocket's in the building. Welcome in, Johnny Rocket. Dun, dun, dun. Papa Mia, thank you so much for tapping in. I appreciate you joining the stream. Yeah, I'll explain the submissions for the whole live stream in just like 2-3 minutes. Let me just get some things rolling here. Let's get the live move and get some things flowing here, and then we'll open up the lines for people to submit in just a couple minutes. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love pianos. Piano is so much fun. Well, synths are my favorite thing. You can't see a lot of them on this screen. You can on the other one. But I love synths. I love piano. I love keys. Been playing most of my life. Derek Bennett's in the building. What's up, Derek Bennett? How you feeling today, man? In fact, I got you, Derek Bennett. I got you, man. I appreciate you so much. We're going to get rolling with music here in just a couple minutes. I'll explain the live. Let me go ahead and update Derek really quick. Let me get Derek back up on the board right here. I just uncheck your name and get it back where it needs to be. There we go. Beautiful. I'll be looking for your email to come up in a while. Shane Paul's in the building. Tired, still playing catch up from work week as far as sleeping, even behind on some music stuff. I feel that, man. I spent I'm on a little bit later again today as well, where I spent most of the day working through some productions. I was behind on a couple projects. So I've just got a whole stack of I mean, it's a good thing. I'm not complaining, but a big stack of projects right now that I got a little bit behind. So I'm like finishing up a mix for one song, a revision for another song, in the middle of a production for another song. I got hired for some session work last week. So I spent, half of last week doing synth work and keys work, some session stuff. So I've just been kind of all over the place. And sometimes it's hard for me to continue to get to the finish line with projects when a big batch of them comes in like that. So that's been part of my my struggle has been just making sure that I'm completing everything as we go, because it can stack up pretty quick. JT, welcome in. Machiavelli, thank you for tapping into the stream. I appreciate you so much. Okay, let's get into some music, y'all. I want to move pretty quick. Because it's going to be another short live. Again, I do these lives after I finish all the rest of my work. So sometimes they're longer. Daniel, welcome in. Sometimes these lives are longer. Sometimes they're 5 hours long sometimes, but a lot of times these lives are only like, last night we did 3 hours. Today will probably be about 2, something like that. It's not going to be super, super long. So I just do these kind of at the end of my day. So sometimes I'll spend, 6-8 hours working through projects and sessions and mixes and stuff. And then I'll hop on live for a couple hours. And then, other days, maybe have a little bit of a lighter load. I finish a project, I ship out a couple revisions. I can go on for a little bit longer. Today's going to be a shorter one. Clayton's in the building. It can't be the real Clayton. It can't be the real Clayton. There's no way. There's no way. Clayton, it's good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing amazing. Okay. Y'all. Bex is in the building as well. What's up, Bex? Life is life. Life is a little crazy right now. It's a little crazy right now, but it's moving and grooving. We're staying incredibly busy. So we're doing it. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Thank y'all so much for joining. I appreciate y'all being here. Exclamation point submit. Line is right next to me. Exclamation point submit. It's going to be a short live today, so we're going to move at a good pace. Okay, let's get into some music. Let me give my spiel. Let me give my quick little spiel here. And then, I'm sorry, I'm talking to 3 different platforms. My bad, y'all. I'm talking to 3 different platforms here. That was for the Purple app. If you are on the Purple app, starts with a T. You can type exclamation point submit right there in the chat. If you're over here, go to my profile, click on the link. No, you're totally good. That's my bad. I'm talking to 4 different screens here on 3 different live streams. So that's not your fault. If you're over on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link. All the details are right there. Okay, for those of you who have never been here before, if you've never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the family. I'm so glad that y'all are here. We're going to dive into some music here right away. So if you've never been here before, let me give a quick rundown of what we do here. What we do here at Track Talk, thank you for the follows as well, I appreciate that, are 20 to 30 minute long form consultations on the structure of your music. These are not quick reviews. There is no trash or pass. There are no ratings. There are no polls. This is strictly a 20 to 30 minute multiple listen, 2 to 3 times through your song, breakdown and consultation on the structure of your music. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm not here to trash you. I'm not here to roast you. I'm not here to get you exposure. If that happens, beautiful. I'm so happy that it happens. It's just not my priority. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'm here to dive into the music and hopefully and ideally give you some very specific, practical, and actionable feedback on the structure of your music. First time over 300 of my songs or jams on my channel. Ooh, let's go. Sam, it's good to see you. I appreciate you hopping in. JT, Daniel, thank you for the follows as well. Mason, I appreciate you. Is it Mason? Yeah, thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate that a lot. So the Purple app is lagging way too much for me. It's going good, Boets. I appreciate you hopping in. You can also try Red. Red is usually the most stable for anyone. If the audio is weird on TikTok, if it's glitchy and it's speeding up and slowing down and whatever, try the Red app, YT. That's where you can see the line, the order, the minimums. And it also tends to be the most consistent platform. So shameless plug there. That is probably going to be the cleanest stream, the best audio, no ads, all that fun stuff. Okay. It's going pretty good, though. It's going pretty good. We got about, I think probably maybe 5 or 6 songs today. It's going to be short and sweet. I mean, it's still like 2 hours. It's short and sweet. But if you would like to submit, like I said, these are 20 to 30 minute consultations, not a quick review. 2 to 3 times through the song. If you would like to submit for that, go to my profile, click on the link, and just read through and follow all of the details. You can check the line, order, and minimum on the other platforms that we're live on, the Red and Purple app. You can just check through the details there. Derek, stop it. Stop it. No, not that. Cut it out, Derek. Okay. If you do want to submit, go to my profile and click on the link and then read through and follow all the details there. Miranda's in the building. For those of you who don't know me, if you would never have been here before, nothing new about the strike. I love the strike. The strike is awesome. I actually got to talk with one of the band members for a while after I posted some synth stuff that they interacted with, which is pretty cool. SAS Bestie in the building. The strike is dope. They're still very accessible for the amount of movement and exposure that they're getting with their tours and stuff like that. So shout out to the strike. I appreciate a lot of what they do on the synth side, especially. Yeah. Oh, of course. I know the strike. I'm a lot of my business is around that style of music. So I've been playing piano and keys since I was 6 years old. So synthesist is my jam. I've been playing like actual synths and purchased my first synth when I was like 14 years old. It was a Korg Micro Korg, and then I got this Triton LE. right there at the bottom right there is my old Korg Triton LE. And that was one of my first synths that I had, and I still have it. It still works. It's still running and gunning. So I get hired as a session musician doing synthesis oftentimes. Okay, let me double check a few things, y'all. Let me double check a few things here. Let me get some things rolling in here. I've got to get submissions up on the board. But once again, if you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then read through and follow the steps there. Okay, give me 2 seconds here. I got to update the line and get everything moving. Yeah, but for those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done that for 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained pianist. So that is the perspective that we hold. That is the way that we approach kind of the structure of this live stream is from that vantage point. Sorry, I'm missing some chat. Ball Knower, what's your favorite song by them? Probably, I mean, this is probably the cliche response, but it's probably Getaway. I like the pacing of Getaway. Yeah, I just feel like, sax movement synthesis, the pacing with the triplets. There's something about it that to me it has a really good. Every time I hear that song, I'm happy, and that to me is one of the things that I look for when I'm listening to their music. So I think Getaways. It's always a very simple. Yeah, 100%. It's all linked at my profile, Miranda. So if you go to my profile, you'll see where the red and purple app is right there. But yeah, I make it super easy. It's Torvik everywhere. Look up Torvik music on any platform, and that will be what pops up. It's a very unique name, so there's not a lot of people that hold it. Okay, let's see. Derek Bennett said first time here. Let's go. Clayton, it's so good to see you, man. Where have you been my whole life, Clayton? Where have you been my whole life? All right, we got Clayton in the building. Clayton, let me get you up on the board right now. I love it. Yeah, I almost had a chance to see. I moved back from Dallas. I lived in Dallas for about 2.5 years. I had a studio up there, and then I moved back to my home city, which is San Antonio, about 7 months ago, 7 or 8. I guess maybe 7 months ago, something like that. And now I have I built out a production studio at the house here. But when I was in Dallas, I almost had a chance. You probably know the Midnight. In the same vein, and I almost had a chance to see. I think it was the Midnight in the Fray, and I'm not like a big fan of the Fray, but I do like the Midnight a lot. And almost had a chance to see them live when they were in Dallas and Deep Ellum, and it just the cards didn't stack up. The cards didn't stack up, and I wasn't able to do it. Grateful you said, love you, Holmes. Watching Gilmore Girls. Let's go. Did I already tell you, Clayton, that we finished it? Overtime, miles ahead, Getaway, nothing new. Yeah. They're great. They're great. There's when I go, I listen to a lot of different music for different reasons, right? So when I want happy 80s vibe, I'm going the Midnight or the Strike usually. If I want to feel dark and moodier, we're going Time Cop 83, we're going Kavinsky, you know what I mean? If I want more of the dark synthwave stuff, I have kind of the different ones that I'll go to for different things. But the Strike and the Midnight are great if you want kind of modern examples of 80s pop. And then on the other side, if you want something dark and moody, Time Cop 83, Time Cop 1983 is fantastic. And Kavinsky, you can't go wrong with Kavinsky. Okay, let me update the line here. Let me get the legend Clayton up on the board. Da-da. Say hi to Palinka for me. There's Saxon. It's so wild, Nick. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome in, Ghoul friends in the building. Miranda, thank you for the gifts. Midnight Fury, thank you for the finger hearts. I appreciate you tapping in, man. Good to see you. Slim is in here. What's up, Slim? We got the family in the chat right now. We got the family in the chat. Da-da-da-da. Who's over on the Red app right now? Who just hopped in? Let me know who that is, because the names are all different on all of the different platforms. I actually am in the process of looking for a nice alto sax because I really want to teach myself saxophone for the reason of putting it in my synthwave stuff, in my 80s music. I love sax. Sax is such a beast of an instrument, and I want to teach myself. I've taught myself a lot of music over my lifetime and over my career. That's my next. It's either that or cello, either sax or cello. But sax, I think, is probably a little bit more accessible. Okay, Clayton, let me get you up here. Let me get you up on the board. Bex, that's the thing. That's okay. Hold on, focus. My ADHD is gonna drive me up a wall right now. My new friend, how can I suggest a song for your sweet ears? For my sweet ears, go to my profile and click on the link. You can read through and follow all the details right there. All of the details to submit for a consultation are right there in the chat. teaching myself piano, beautiful. I think piano is probably one of the most important instruments to learn just from an ear training and scaling and phrasing standpoint, understanding transpositions, rhythm. I'm very grateful that was my first instrument was technically drums, but I started piano when I was 6 years old. And I'm very, very grateful because it was one of the reasons why I'm able to do everything that I do, have like near perfect pitch, being able to like have great ear training and build structure really easily, transpose very easily. That to me is I'm very, very grateful for my experience training in music. And I'm glad I didn't do that later on. So I would do it as soon as you can. If y'all are wanting to learn an instrument, start with piano. Guitar came so easy for me because once I knew scales, once I knew scales on the piano, it made it so much easier to by ear learn the guitar scales, even though I was making it up on my own at the time. Like when I was just playing, guitar, trying to figure it out, like 8 years old, 9 years old, something like that. I learned guitar by ear because I knew piano. And so I would just move the fingers until it was like hitting the right notes. You know what I mean? Pause. I would just move the fingers until I was like, well, that's not the same thing that it sounds on the piano. And so I would switch it and move it until I learned the fingering positions and until I actually learned the proper phrasing and stuff like that. And it made a huge difference. So I was able to learn guitar because of piano. So I always recommend. What mic is that? This is a Neumann M147 tube. I love it. It's one of my favorite microphones. I'm so, I know, that's a pause. Hold on. I love it. Neumann M147 tube. It's a great mic. Great mic. It's a very specific mic. So if you don't like what this mic is, you're not going to like the way it sounds, but I love this thing. I think it's one of my favorite mics, especially for the price. For the price, it's not like people don't really talk about it. It's the same price as a U87. It's, the same price as a lot of other like really high-end microphones, but no one talks about it. It's a great tube microphone. I really, really like it. Okay. Midnight Fury's in the building. What's up, Midnight Fury? All right. Okay. Let me, when are you giving us new music? Bex, when am I, Libby's in the building. What's up, Libby? When are y'all getting new music? I talk about this all the time. Here's my problem. I have very little. I'm working like crazy right now. A stack of projects, I've got tons of work. That's a great thing. It's a fantastic thing. I have a lot of projects right now, and it's very challenging for me to do a lot of the things that I do for money in the music industry and build projects and productions and mix and do session work and stuff like that, and then still have energy for like my own personal creativity and the time. Time is one of those things, but time, energy, and just creative headroom. I was talking to Midnight Fury about this a little while ago too, where it's difficult for me sometimes, like listening and working on music for 8-10 hours a day or whatever it might be on any given day, and doing the live streams and hearing another 3 hours of music, and then getting off and being like, now let me make something for me that doesn't make money. And that's the struggle, right? Is like just having the headroom for that, having the mental capacity to like shift into, this is selfish, this is me, this is not to make money, this is just what I want to do, and that's, I want to do more of it because I've done it a lot, I've done it in the past. I want to be able to carve out space for it. Hey, welcome in over on the Purple app. I see you. Thanks for tapping in. That's the struggle though. So I do want to work on more music, even just instrumentals. I want to put out more synthwave, more 80s stuff. I want to put out instrumental albums and EPs that I can pitch for sync and get them out to the world. But it's challenging. It's challenging right now. So hopefully in the very near future, that is one of the goals that I have set for this year though, is to release more music. So far we are 2.5 months in and I've done nothing. So, working on it or a month and a half in, I guess, technically speaking, working on it. I've always wanted to play the piano and the drums. Do it, Bex. Just do it. Just do it. Get a cheap, I appreciate you. Get a cheap, a cheap piano or a cheap, just like something off Marketplace. You can always find, thank you for the follow on Twitch. You can always find like a $50 cheap, like Yamaha piano on Facebook Marketplace, and then just do a YouTube lessons. There's like tutorials and YouTube lessons for like basics, and just start to learn. And then if you ever have the capacity to hire a teacher, I think it's really beneficial. But on, you can always start. It's never too late. You're never too old. You can always start. Clayton, go to the red app. Clayton. No ads. Okay. I used to play the clarinet and violin many moons ago. That's amazing, Bex. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, got it. 100%. You got to. What's P2W? I'm not familiar. Got to. I'm trying. Well, actually, I'm not right now. I need to try. And then I said, I'm old as dirt. You're not old as dirt. You're never too old. I mean, Depeche Mode was just touring last year. They're like their 60s or 70s. You're never too old. If Depeche Mode can do a world tour, or at least a European tour, at like 70, then there's so much time. Okay. Do Yeah, Mason, 100%, 100%. Okay, we got to get into some music. Let me just make sure that I'm updated. Give me a sec. We got Derek. Absolutely any genres. Absolutely any genres. Any genres, any level of preparedness, any level of quality. Let me just make sure I've got all of this updated. We got Clayton in the building. Clay, I got you in the email as well. Let me know, Clayton, when you're back in. When you're back in. All right, really quick, once again, I already mentioned this, but I'll just mention it for new people that are coming in as well. If you do want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, just read through and follow all the steps there. These are not quick reviews. This is a 20 to 30-minute long-form consultation. So if you want to get yourself in the line, these are going to take a little bit of time, right? When you are the artist and the producer, the musician, the vocalist, songwriter, whatever it is that is on the stage, we're going to spend 20 to 30 minutes really digging into the details of your music. So if that's what you're looking for, you want a long-form consultation on the structure of your mix, production, sound design, lyric, and song structure, so on and so on, then definitely go to my profile, click on the link, and just read through all the details there. I like it over here better than Twitch. The thing with Twitch, Bex, is just the ads. It's just the ads. Thank you for the heart me, Bex. I appreciate it. It's just the ads. The ads are super annoying. So the Red app, YT, the Red app, I think is the best because you're going to get the better audio, you're going to get the better visual, you're going to get the line, all that other stuff. Red app is where it's at. Okay, let me know. Let me get this downloaded really quick. This is catching fish. Let's get it. Clayton, let me know when you're back. You might not be hearing this. You might be stuck behind 4 ads over on the purple app, but I'm going to get it downloaded anyways, and then we're going to get into some music, y'all. PW Live, welcome in. Let's see. I'm just waiting for this to come in, and we're gonna get it flowing. Let's see. Clayton, Derek, Eli, Alicia, Gabriel up on the board, ready to go. I'll wait for hopefully Gabriel comes back in too. Yay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're live. All right. We're back. Okay, Clayton, if that happens again, just go to the Red app. Go to the Red app, YT. There's no ads over there. You'll be erased on welcome in. You'll be much better off. Came from TikTok. Oh, beautiful. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome over. You're just making sure that it's the same setup. Mason's in the building over on the Red app. Yeah, Clayton, if that happens again, just hop on over to the Red app. That way you don't have to deal with any of the ADS. They're super annoying. Ray, thanks for hopping in. Judith, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate you a lot. Yeah, if anybody wants to submit, we're diving into the music right now. Go to my profile, click on the link, and read through it and follow all of the steps. I don't have a lot of time today. It's going to be probably anywhere from 4 to 6 songs. It's going to be short and sweet. It's going to be pointed. So if you want to submit, just make sure you check all those details. Let's dive in. We got Clayton in the building. Clayton, you know the deal better than most. Give me all of the details. Give me context. What is this song? What is the role that you play in the song? It's been a while since I've heard your music. I know you had, I think, was it a publishing deal initially? You hit reset on a lot of your music. Some stuff was pulled. You're repushing again. So talk me through a little bit of your process right now. I would love to kind of understand what the song, what the song is, what it means to you, and your role in creating it. Let's get into it, man. This is Clayton. Let's dive in. This is called Catching Fish. I'm assuming unreleased as of this point. Let's get into it. Ray, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow all the steps there.
Catching every shadow's bend. Some days I feel invisible, some days I play pretend that everyone knows me as a lover or a friend, but then the river starts to creeps back in.
There's a gated reverb. Come on. Let's go. Yeah, Clayton's the songwriting goat. So good. I'm gonna drop it into Pro Tools and we'll chop through it over there for a little bit too. Let's go. Yeah. Great lyric structure, of course. Woo. What's up, Zilzian? Welcome in. Let's go, man. What's up, Emmy? Welcome in. Did you produce this too, Clayton? Hell yeah. And that's just a format shift of your vocal, right? Everything just me now. Let's go, y'all. Show some love to the family. Show some love to the family. That is Clayton. Song is called Catching Fish. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. Okay, I'm gonna throw up Pro Tools. Excuse me. These allergies, Jesus. If y'all want to check out Pro Tools, go to the purple or red app. I recommend the red app just because there's no ads. Hop over to the other app. That way you can see, you can find it all on my profile if you click on the link, which is also where you can submit if you would like to. If you want to see the DAW, I'm going to dive into the DAW just for a second because I want to visit a couple things in the song. So I've got it pulled up with Ozone, so we can do some imaging searches on there, as well as understanding some of the balancing there. There's just a little altar boy, yeah, beam, haze, and micro shift. Yeah, it's nice because it almost gives the texture of another rock vocal in there. But I was like, I'm pretty sure that's just a format of your lead vocal, which is sick. All right, let's run it from the top. I'm going to listen to a couple things really quick. As always, structure is fantastic. Lyrics are perfection. They're so interesting. Melodic choices are great. Dynamics are awesome. There's definitely some collapse happening, and there's definitely some hollowness that's happening in the middle of the mix. I'm also assuming this is a demo for the most part too, and there still needs to be some mixing and stuff that happens, but I still want that to be pointed in the right direction. It's a killer song structure though. What's up, Jenna? Welcome in. I hope you're doing amazing today. So let's listen to a couple. Whoops, that's another song playing in the background. So let me listen to a couple things here. Once again, if you want to see what's going on, hop onto one of the other apps, so you can kind of see what's because this is all fairly narrow. You kind of see this in the middle here. Vast majority of your mix. This is what I'm listening for, and this is what I'm looking for right here. Not a lot of stereo information. It's fairly tight, right? It's fairly tight. Most of it, there's some little sprinkles on the outside from like a reverb on the guitars or something like that, but it's pretty tight to the middle right here for the vast majority of this structure. Bass comes in a little bit wider right there, and then it kind of hollows out in the middle, right? I'm doing pretty good, Jenna. And then in tandem to that, this is probably just happening because of maybe like a master widener or something like that. Melly, welcome in. It kind of sounds like it's a lot of things have just kind of pushed the outside, maybe causing a little bit of collapse. You're getting a little bit of this like hollowness in the middle of the mix. In tandem with the mid kind of dipped out, you have a U-shaped curve. So it's heavy sub, high end, right? So a really bright high end, a really heavy sub, and then not a lot of information in the middle. So I would love to just, I'm going to reintroduce, I'm just going to do it straight on ozone, just ozone. I'll do it straight on ozone. I'll do it straight on ozone just so we can kind of hear it. Again, this is not how I do it in your case. I just want to wake up the middle of the mix again, right? So I'm going to bring a couple things back into play on the, yeah. 100%. And honestly, I think you could take it even farther just so the demo feels like it has, because what I'm running into, and even if you do ship this to an engineer, you pitch it to a label or something like that, or you pitch it to a library, whatever it may be, however you want to approach this as you get closer to completing it, the better that early demo is, the more they're going to feel the energy of it. And a lot of the energy of your vocal and those guitars happens in the middle. That's where it's scooped. So just reintroduce that again. Because there's something to be said of like a good house record too. Like there's something that's been done at home that feels raw, feels organic, it feels grungy. I kind of like that feel. But if you could create like a little bit more warmth in there, this will feel so much better. So you can see that scoop right there in the middle. What's up, Lucas? Goodness gracious, come on. The difference there is crazy. Such a good structure. Let's run it back from the top. I'm gonna go a little bit more mono for your sub. I just again, slight rebalancing here. I'm gonna pull down about 10% for the mono, and then top end.
Throwing lines, making ripples, catching every shadow's bend. Some days I feel invisible, some days I play pretend that everyone knows me as a lover or a friend. But then the river starts to pose, the reality creeps back in.
Before. Wake up those guitars. I love your vision for this, man. Love your, like literally just like, I'll just bypass and go ahead. Before. After. And again, this needs to be reworked from like early foundational stages. Now let's just get into your structure. I'm gonna go back to the original one. So just before you send this out, watch phasing issues, just making sure that you're not, like you said, you just threw a preset on it to just kind of get it there. I would almost just, honestly, I think more people should do this, to be honest with you. Go cut out the presets and widening and like whatever else is happening there that's causing some collapse, and just put a limiter on it. just pan things where they need to be, put the guitars left and right, get that vocal front and center with the doubles on the outside, get the drums in stereo on an aux with the reverb you already have on there. Just open it up like you already have it for the most part, and then throw L1 on the master, -1, give yourself 2 dB of reduction, and then ship it off. That way, like, you at least have just like a clean master that you can toss out there that doesn't have any other issues in processing that are actually going to like take away in the pursuit of like making it bigger so that it sounds decent out there. I would almost just wish you'd slapped a limiter on it and shipped it. That way, at least your master's clean. You're not dealing with any weird phase issues, any duplications, any collapsing, anything like that. I almost feel like you can kind of shrink it down, some of the processing that you're doing, and then slap it. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I think you can move forward with it being a little bit more organic, because I'm like hearing all of the master processing. I'm hearing the preset. I'm hearing all the master processing happening. Thank you for the heartbeat. And I want to get back to just hearing what your vocal is doing and what the guitars are doing, because it's a great song, man. It's such a good song. Okay, I'm going to delete this off Pro Tools right now, and let's just get into the details of the song. If anybody wants to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow all the details. All right. Yes, delete clips. And we're back over here. I think the line is up. Beautiful. All right, let's run this from the top. Let's dive into a couple details here, Clayton. But yeah, you're a beast, man. I mainly want to talk about structure and songwriting because that's your strong suit. We can talk a little bit about production, but I honestly feel like it's really, really, really well done. Quick question. Yes, if you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow all the steps there. We'll get you on the board. We got a long list of people on there, so I just want to make sure that everybody's in order. A quick question. How much would you charge to master 4 songs? Not nearly as much as a mix, so just shoot me a message. We could probably work out like a batch deal or something like that. I'd have to see the songs, see kind of the process of how you want to master it and stuff like that. Gio's in the building. What's up, Gio? Thanks for tapping in. Shoot me a DM. Shoot me a DM. I got you. It's a fraction of the cost over a mix. I do. Yeah, that's what I do full-time, Adam. I work full-time as, there's 3 large things that I do for my job. I work full-time as an audio engineer, a mix and mastering engineer, a producer, and a session musician. I've done that professionally for the last 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained pianist. So the structure, that's kind of the way that we hold this live, is from that perspective. I'm not here like as an artist trying to put down other artists or anything like that. Sounds good, Adam. Yeah, of course. Anytime. Yeah, shoot me a message. I'm always happy to work. That's what I was doing all day today. Spent about 8 hours earlier working through a production, finishing a revision on a mix and master. But that is what I do full time. This is live streaming is not what I do full time. Okay. Gio said the real question is, how much do you want so I can buy that Juno? The only way I would let anybody buy my Juno is my baby. My Juno is my baby. If anybody wants to buy the Juno, you just have to pay me enough for me to buy another one. that's the only option, which at that point, you could just buy your own. I was like, hey, if you want to save, to get one in the condition that mine's in like pretty nearly perfect condition, it'd probably be, $2,000 to $2,500 or something like that. Clayton, that was someone on TikTok. Someone on TikTok was asking about mastering. I mean, you can if you want, but that's up to you. Shane was over there. Yeah, it's like, if you want the Juno, you got to pay Juno prices, and I just need to buy another one. It's my favorite synth. Yeah, Triton LE below. Right now, I've got a bunch of random stuff in here, and then we'll get back into the song. I've got my MX61 down here. You can't see because it's not racked. My MX61, my SK1, the Ensoniq SQ1 Plus, the DX21, Pro 1, Pro 800, K2, Mini Log, Poly D, Keystep Pro, Juno 106, Triton LE. And I think I have another one in here somewhere. Oh yeah, I have another Yamaha like PSS 1. I think it's a PSS 170. The PSS 170, which is a horrible sounding synth that I love. It's like a terrible sounding like $50 synth from the 80s. Kind of like the SK1. The SK1 that I have it's over on the desk over there, but the SK1 that I have, it's like, it sounds terrible, but that's why. It's great for like lo-fi stuff. I love it so much. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Okay. I have a look. Yeah, I live in a perpetual state of gas. And if you don't, and we're talking about gear, not actual gas. I need to go to a doctor for that. But I'm always looking at stuff. I'm constantly. I have like 2 extra guitar amps in here, 2 other drum sets in. Like I'm constantly like getting stuff in that I'm trading and flipping. Like I traded a set of like an old PA that I had in here. I traded that PA for like a bass guitar, another synth, an electric guitar amp, and now I have all this extra stuff that I don't need, so I'm gonna like sell all of that, use all of that money to get a Moog. Like I'm just constantly switching stuff around in here. It's brutal. It's a mess. I'm trying to clean it up. Okay, let's get into the track, Clayton. Let's run it. I bought what'd you get? Talk to me. Okay. Let's go, Clayton. If you want to send in, just go to my profile, click on the link, and then read through and follow the details there. For those of you who have never been here before, keep in mind these are long-form consultations. This is not a fast review. There's no trash or pass ratings or polls. That's not the format of this live stream. It is 20 to 30 minutes per song that we listen to. We go back through the song 2 to 3 different times to really dig into it, hone in on issues, celebrate the things that you're winning at, and also hopefully give some actionable feedback on improving the structure of what you're doing. So if that's what you're looking for, then definitely you can stick around for a minute, hang out, chat in the chat. Otherwise, feel free to just chill, or you can always go to the profile if you want to submit. Okay. Ooh, a rolling guy, and the vocal. Ooh, the little vocal keys are great. And a Korg Nautilus. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I like having like a workstation. That's why I have the MX61. You can't see it, but the Triton LE workstation, the MX61, that's a motif engine. If you know, the Yamaha motif engine, one of the most popular workstation engines, has 1,000 sounds from the motif. That to me is it's a nice like workhorse. If I just need like 90s hip hop and R&B stuff, like it's a great go-to. The Triton and the MX61 are great for stuff like that. Okay, let's run it. Let's run it. Enough chat. Like I want to hear that. I want to hear that line either stereo, chorused, or double tracked. Need to say 1% I'm fine with a 9. Yeah. You could do it, man. You could do it. I want to hear those double track, even like an early demo. I want to start opening up your stereo field a little bit. You're obviously getting a lot of low end inflation from the drums and bass, but what you're doing sonically, I think, is fantastic. Like the actual production structure, the sounds that you're using, the riffs that you're executing are catchy. They're really, really well done. I talk about this all the time, but it is so necessary in your music that you have musical and vocal hooks. You can't just have bland music and then your vocals doing whatever. You need musical and vocal hooks, right? So in this case, you have a really clear musical hook as well. Like that movement right there, to me, especially once balanced, once mixed, and once fully produced out, that to me is going to be such a catchy element of the song. That's your first hook. That's the first thing that people remember. There's a lot of songs that y'all know that you like remember partially just for the hook. Like you remember the music just as much as you remember the vocal structure for the hook itself. So definitely make sure that you're keeping an instrumental hook in there as well. This is a beautiful example of that. It's really, really well done. Also matches partially some of your vocal structure, which I think is fantastic. Tiny Alex, let's go. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. The reality creeps back in. Thank you for the follow, Lila. Appreciate it. I would love to still hear, just for a little bit more tension, I would love to still, so I love the formant shift on your vocal. I mean, it makes it dark, it makes it moody, it feels, nasty in all the right ways. It's really, really well done. Love the formant shifting and the doubles that are happening there. I would still have a lead vocal that feels a little bit more, dug into the layering right there, fit into the layering right there. So you still get the clarity of your lead in tandem to that. It might be there in the background with some of the other layers that you have there. But I would love to hear your lead vocal unformant shifted down to still get some of that clarity and some of that punch right there that I think would be really, really nice to listen to. Because I don't want to like lose, especially if it's a lot of people's like first introduction to your vocal. I don't want half the song to like not have your lead in it, especially in the style. I still want to get some of that clarity and some of that grunge and that organic texture from your vocal. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So I would love to lock those in. So just like one other layer that you can feed in, probably at the higher, at the higher octave right there to give it that punch, give it that clarity. Thank you for the follow, Robert. I appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. And yeah, I love these vocals. They're awesome. If you ever get a chance to get a pair, they're really, really, really phenomenal sounding. Expensive as hell, but very, 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 very good sounding. Reality creeps back in. Yeah, I want one layer with some of the clarity supported by the distortion, supported by all the nastiness, but we still have a little bit more of you in the mix there. Such a good strong, dude, you're such a beast of a lyricist. Your melodies are always killer. Again, so catchy, great repetition. It's awesome. Awesome. Especially there when you're going to kind of like a bit more than passing time, when you're going into that last little like lift right there, I want that to like be like a dry lead vocal of yours instead of completely kind of disguised by processing. I would love to still have to listen to maybe some of you. Yeah, that's the whole goal, Gio. That's the whole goal, that even if you're not up on the board, if you're not having your song heard, you can still learn something. You can still learn from the community and from the amazing artists that are coming through. That's the goal. Doughboy's in the building. What's up, Doughboy? It's pretty full right now. It just depends on how fast you want to go. I only have time for like 4 or 5 more songs. I want to hear this interlude here. Is it like automated dry there? Is the guitar generated, or is it just the fuzz on there, and then is it like automated dry? Great structure, man. Yeah, beautiful lyric structure. I'm going to back it up just a little bit here. And then there's almost like Antara's harmony engine in the background too. I think with some of like the choir layers there, like with like the choir effect in the background there too. It's a really cool structure. You might be running into like a little bit of latency with that. So, or maybe you might need to compensate for the latency there just a little bit. Just again, I know it's a demo. I'm just tossing stuff out there. Cause it's a little latent to the vocals. So you might want to tighten it up just slightly. Yeah, okay, no, as you can see, the Logic project, that is 6 different tracks. I didn't know how else to automate it because I wanted it to come very specifically. Yeah, because I like the way that it automates, but I would almost... like right here. So it does sound like there's a double, maybe some automation on panning, and then like automates dry just a little bit there. And then a different lead on the other side right there. That's what I was listening for. Okay, let's get back in over here. Thank you, Jenna. I appreciate you. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. If anybody wants to submit, go to my profile, click on the link. It could be nice to have like the occasional vocal texture in there. I like the initial breakdown, so don't touch the initial breakdown, right? Just to kind of keep some vocal engagement in the mix. So because the dynamic shift is pretty dramatic here, that you don't lose anybody. Let me hear the last line here and then going into the interlude, because I really like the interlude. I think it's great. It's a great fresh riff. Like, it's a great change in dynamic and energy. I like it a lot. Heavy. 109 tracks is crazy. Yeah, you're definitely, so just be careful, because if you have 109 tracks on here and you'll have a lot of like duplications and double tracks and stuff like that, nearly positive you're also getting some cancellation of things you want wide that aren't being presented wide. So just make sure that there's color changes between doubles, make sure that there's timing changes between doubles. Otherwise they're kind of collapsing back to middle with some of those duplicates. So just be careful of that. Obviously I can't see the session, but just be careful of making sure that if you're going to be like doubling things and duplicating things and going, double tracks left and right for the guitar, you got 6 layers on this one part of the guitar, that you're not collapsing, that you're not dealing with any phase cohesion issues and stuff like that. What do you think is more important when making a beat, the structure or the complexity? Complexity just has to serve the song. So there's no right answer to that. There's no like right answer to that. I think the structure and the format of the song means the most as far as like listener retention and people remembering your song. The structure is vital to that, right? Complexity, Jesus Christ. Complexity. I love the strokes. The strokes are amazing. The strokes are fantastic. Complexity just has to serve the song. Bohemian Rhapsody is an incredibly variety-packed and complex song structure that is legendary. But if you just like do that on a random song and you have 4 beat switches and a bunch of random stuff in there, it might not work for you, right? It has to serve the song, right? So there's some songs where complexity serves the structure and other times where it's busy and noisy and you're doing too much and it doesn't marry, it doesn't work well together, it doesn't feel cohesive. So I think that structure should always come first no matter what. You need to build a good, solid, valuable song structure that people are actually going to remember. They've got to be able to remember the structure of your song. On the flip side, complexity just matters stylistically. It just matters stylistically, right? The difference between like blast beats on a metal track that you might deem complex with a shredding lead guitar, that serves the structure of the song. Now, if you're an indie folk artist and it's you, a cello, and a ukulele and a I don't know, a lead vocal, and that's it, then yeah, complexity is probably not going to serve what you're doing. Structure should be at the forefront. So yeah, keep it simple. I'm just no, yeah, I know, I agree. I think, but that simple and complex means different things to different genres and different people. Jose, yeah, I can double check. Did you send credit? I probably got the email, but I don't know if I got a full submission. So just let me know. Let me know in the chat really quick, and I can look it up for you. I guess complexity also is matter on how much space is exactly. So like there, you could have something that's like a I don't know, just like a random piano line, like that might be really pretty. But if you try to then like put a vocal over that, then you have to deal with like sonic choices, like what piano are you choosing? How mid forward is that piano? Can the vocal fit over something like that? Like take Golden Hour as an example. Something that has a very complex piano line, but it's mixed in and balanced, and sound design choices are done in a way and in a space that leaves room for that vocal to sit, right? It really just kind of depends on it's song to song. Does complexity serve the song? Does it make it noisy? Does it make it busy? Are things just there to be there, or are they valuable? Does in this case, we're talking about 6 guitar tracks, right, over this one line. Does the 5th and 6th one really matter? And I again, without seeing the session, that's not what I'm even talking about, but just generally speaking, does the 5th and 6th one matter? Is it offering something to the song? And it very well might be, right? It very well might be that I have one little layer. I do a lot of synth work, a lot of synth session work. Of between, even like, 70s, 80s rock, all the way through like, 60s sound design, 80s pop and stuff like that. That's a lot of what I do with synths. And in that space, a lot of times I'll have a layer of 6 different synths, but they're all doing like, I have one that's just like kind of like a pluck, right? I have one that's just doing something very specific. And then I have like a pad underneath it. And then I have this like bass line that's just there for like growl and the resonant curve, for like the Juno. I love stuff like that. Like it's just for growl. And then something else that's just there for like a sub oscillator and a sub bass, right? You have layers, but they're all doing something very specific. Same goes for when you're like tracking, like multi-tracking guitars, mixing in live drums and stuff like that. It has to matter to the song. If you're just putting it there to put it there, I would just go back to your non-negotiables. That's something that I always ask is, what is your non-negotiable? Like what is something that you cannot live without in the mix? Mute everything else, make sure those are mixed well, they're balanced well, they're really, really strong, and then start to fade up some of the other elements there. Mostly do hip hop, and I think for hip hop, you want a good hook and simple verse parts. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to keep space. I mean, the hook is everything. Hook is everything. Hook over everything. Start with your hook most oftentimes, honestly. But then I guess it depends on the rapping style. For sure, if you're more lyrical, a little bit more poetic, or if you're more pop based and structure based, and it's a little bit more about like an R&B hook over a rap record. Those are going to be kind of two different things. AJ's in the building. What's up, AJ? My influence is music and 50s rock and roll, but I need to upgrade my skill with other rock songs. Yeah, it's always good. I think it's always good to have a foundation stylistically. Like I love the 80s, but since I love the 80s and I have a bunch of 80s synths in here, I have a bunch of analog hardware synths and stuff like that. I have like a 60s style guitar. I have a bass from the 80s. Like a lot of my sound design is kind of based around that. By default, any genre that I work in, so someone might come to me for a trap beat or something like that, I'm probably still going to be working in some 80s sound design, Mike Dean style, right? Like there's going to be some synthesis. There's going to be some stacks there. Same thing. If someone comes to me with a pop record, it's probably going to have some of that. Like that's why it's kind of the identity that I hold. So people come to me for that very thing. So even if your foundation is in 50s rock and roll, you can still have edges of these like Bucket Brigade choruses and these like early slapbacks and stuff like that can be really interesting put into other genres as well, and like other branches off of rock and roll. So I think it's always good to have an identity and branch out from there. If you're too all over the place and you're floating around, then it can be a little bit chaotic and honestly just hard to find clientele because people don't know like why to go to you. Okay, let me keep this running. Let's keep this running. Okay, this is what I was talking about here. So I would love to have some vocal texture come in on like the B section of this breakdown just to keep you in the mix a little bit more, right? So like leave this open, let it flow, let it move. And then here, let it break down. Time. Like you can start to like build in some like other texture in there. Like even if it's a little growly, it's a little distorted, it's a little darker, you can have some like texture in the background that just gives you a little bit of energy to like pull you into the next section of the song. Your dynamics build beautifully. Like you do have a good build up, opening up like the tambourine and the open hat and stuff right there. The drums build up nicely. I would love to just added a little bit of texture and a little bit of vocal energy in there so you don't go like 35 seconds without any vocal structure in there. It would be nice to just have a couple little moments that pull you along to kind of lead into the next transition or the next section of the song. Is it Havix? Am I saying that correctly? I can't read from this far. Have Hope, not Havix. Have Hope. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you a lot. If anybody does want to submit, you can go to my profile, click on the link, and just read through and follow all the details right there. We got a full line right now, so if you want to submit, you can. If you want to go faster, you can. That's up to you. We're gonna keep moving through a couple of these songs here. You know what I feel is one of those drum bus. I wouldn't say drum buses are gate kept. There's some things that people call gate kept that like this mind blowing like plugin. It's like Fab Filter that everybody has. People talk about like gate kept stuff, and it's like, to me, the problem with it is that it should just be foundational stuff. Like understanding busing and auxes and where to like run signals parallel in your chain. To me, like that should be some of the first things that you learn before you ever buy a single plugin. Like with stock plugins in whatever DAW that you happen to have, understand gain staging, panning and positioning, understand EQ, compression, busing, effects on your aux, running parallel. Get that stuff down first. Get that like foundational stuff down first, and then, buy whatever else. Yeah. Especially on social media. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's funny. I guess my algorithm's probably a bit different maybe than most. Like I see that stuff all the time because I follow a bunch of engineers and producers. So I'm constantly looking at stuff like that. It is gatekept because people expect you to know that already. Yeah, I think it's because people jump into engineering. You know what I mean? Like engineering and production is one of those things that like people go from zero to buying Pro Tools and Fab Filter and Gullfoss, and then they don't know how to backtrack any of it or recreate any of their like wins too, and that can be challenging. I think that's why is like people are like, there's an assumption that all of those things are already foundational, and people have already like they didn't dip their toes in and build. They dove in, which sometimes is good. Exactly. Yeah, 100% Clayton. And then Clayton, you also work with some other really talented people as well. Like I try to do the same with a lot of the stuff that I do, where it's like, and a lot of the people that are around me, it's one of the reasons why I have a job is like, sometimes you just surround yourself with people that also understand some of the missing pieces that you have, right? So you don't have to be a pro at absolutely everything. Okay, let me keep this running. Yeah, you don't have to feel like you have to know everything. That's why it's helpful to just have other people in your corner. 100%, Gio, 100%. 100%. Do you think the real era of pure rock and roll is in the 50s? I don't think there's, I'm not a purist, Hurl. I gotta do my puzzle piece here, and then I gotta move through some music, y'all. I'm taking too long. This is what happens when you have ADHD and no medication. Okay. I'm mixing J Roman right now. I don't think there is a pure, like I think that everybody in different eras have something to offer, and they take the technology of the age, the influences of the age, the language of that age, the phrasing, the language, the cultural climate, the societal climate, and they build sounds based on that. And so to me, there's not like a pure and a not pure with a lot of music. And I think that people do a disservice to music oftentimes if they're trying to like seek the purity of something in their music. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because everybody in every age and every generation has something to offer. Like, would 50s rock and roll not be pure because some stringed instrument was like actually like the first stringed instrument that actually led to the electric guitar was actually like made in China 3,000 years ago? You know what I mean? Like what is pure then? Because it all led to something. Everything is influence. Everything is built on the shoulders of the society and culture and sound and language of the time. So that, I think that's why I don't like the purity talk around music, just because I just think, how far do you go back with that? How far do we go back to like the originations of some of those things? And then to me, it falls apart pretty quick. Where I'm just like, I just appreciate what culture and society and people offer to each generation. And I just appreciate what it is, man. There's too much mixing advice to jump into online. Well, hold on. There's too much mixing advice to jump into online and offer people to tell you there are no rules. There's some rules. I try to separate creative expression and technicalities in mixing. You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously rules to the science of what the ear hears and what the mind, when the ear hears something, tends to enjoy more than other things. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why like this, there's no rules. Most people, most ears are not going to like the way that sounds. You know what I mean? Like, there's some practical and scientific approaches to what tends, like when you're looking for harmonics and scaling and phrasing and understanding how that works in a key with a vocal structure. There's ways that most people are more likely to enjoy and listen to that stuff. So yeah, I guess there's like no rules, because anybody can just like make shit. Anybody can. You know what I mean? Like But you can that's true, Clayton. You could make it work. You quad track a metal guitar with that. I guess you could make it work. Like, technically, yeah, there's no rules because anybody can make shit. You know what I mean? If you want to make bad sounding stuff, there's no rules to it, and then you just can. And there were no rules to it, but it doesn't mean that it objectively sounds good. So I'm of the standpoint that this is something that I think it was Pharrell that was talking about this. But he was talking about like create messy and edit surgically. And that's a rule that I tend to apply to my own production process as well. Where when I'm going about my creative process, I'm trying things, I'm experimenting, I'm trying to make things a little bit messy, and I'm throwing some ideas at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I'm trying a bunch of new stuff. I'm creating a little bit messy. And then once it's time to like break down, get to the business side, get to mixing, I'm a bit more surgical about it, right? And so anyways, that's, there's no rules, but there's some rules. You know what I mean? It's like technically on the creative side, there's no rules. But on the surgical side, there's a reason why things sound the way that they sound, and there's science behind that. And there's people that understand that science better. Okay. Because if it does, it muddies your mix and sounds right. And so it's one of those things, right, where it's just like, on one hand, where it's like, if your idea, if your stack of ideas when you're creating something step on the toes of your other ideas, and you're doing something wrong. So you're like, oh, I want like this really, really powerful drum and this vocal that cuts in, and there's no rules, so I'll do whatever I want. But then you like slap a heavy sub bass on there and pull tech it to all shit, and you go crazy. Well, your freedom of there being no rules to what makes something creative stepped on its own toes. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, now you're super heavy bass because there's no rules and you can do whatever you want, and everything sounds good if you just like it. Stepped on your own desire to have clarity for your vocal and punch in your vocal. So, you know, there's a lot of things you have to kind of hold up at the same time. Do you ever have to adjust the input volume on your PC when recording, or do you keep it at the input? Are you talking about like my interface? I change the volume on my interface all the time. I'm constantly gain staging going in, depending on the kind of vocal that I'm tracking, depending on the artist, depending on the instrument, depending on if I am doing like a close proximity, more intimate vocal at a lower register, or if I'm stepping back and doing high layers to like a pop vocal. I'm always adjusting my gain staging properly as I go through my analog, and then when I go into the DAW, I'm making adjustments all the time. But yeah, I adjust my preamp all the time. Just kind of depends on what I'm tracking. And then I'll use this same mic right here. I love this mic. It's great for acoustic guitars. I use this to track acoustic guitars. I've used this on drums before. And all of those things have different SPLs. Those are all going to have different sound levels, different amplitudes, and just a different amount of energy that are hitting it. So I'm always gain staging depending on the source. I'm not someone who's, since I do a lot of session work and I'm working in a lot of different ways, I'm always having to adjust stuff because I do it all myself. Okay. All right. Markeel's in the building. What's up, Markeel? I got some stuff coming from Markeel in just a little bit. I'm excited, man. I soft glitched it on my kick in the drummer, so I can turn that kick up crazy, but on the master channel it doesn't come. Yeah, I mean, there's strategies. There's strategies. It's pretty full. It's pretty full right now. You can check the line on the Red app. YT, if you want to see the line that ordered the minimum. I know I'm answering a lot of questions today, but I also do like to answer a lot of questions. How do you know how to pan guitar trucks if you have multiple layered for the chords? I would just change color, change texture, and change timing lightly, usually phrasing, and then just pan them however you want to. It really depends. Do you want a wide double track guitar left and right? Do you want something a little bit more narrow? Do you want something that feels like it's doubled right in line with each other? It kind of depends. Sometimes I stereo mic my acoustic guitar, and then sometimes I do some different kind of double tracking with different phrasing, where I have it kind of doing two different things at the same time, where I might have one chord, like one, like an A major chord on the left side, and then I do an inversion of the A major chord on a different pickup or a different mic position, and I pan it to the right. It really just depends on your taste, depends on what you're trying to get. Do you want ultra width? Then you probably want different color, different timing, different texture. If you want something a little bit closer, then you can pan it in 30-40%, and just kind of get it out of the way of the lead vocal lightly. And then maybe it's some light mid-side processing on a guitar bus, and you'll be fine. It'll sound nice and full. All right, let's get into the outro of this, man. We're spending too much time, Clayton. I gotta finish this song. Joe, thank you for the heartbeat as well. Appreciate you, man. Of course. Killer, man. All right, let me get into this. Samuel, welcome in. Appreciate you hopping in. Y'all keep tapping the screen too. I'm spending way too much time on the song, but I do want to get this a couple other artists here tonight. Like I said, I don't have a ton of time, but I am spending way too much of it. Pot, thank you for the follow. I'm spending way too much of that time ranting, but I need to focus on the track. So I'm so sorry, Clayton. I know I'm taking a minute. Hopefully a couple of the things that we've talked about earlier on too, hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully it gives you maybe a little bit of direction. But you know the deal, Clayton. I love your song structure. I love your lyrics. Your melodies are always addicting and catchy. They're repetitive. They feel full. There's a couple things that my brain kind of wants to hear in this mix, even before you get it, again, an early pre-mix, before you get it sent to an engineer, or you do some of it yourself. But yeah, this is a powerhouse record, man. It's a really, really, really good record. I'm glad. I always hope so. Which is why, that's why it's track talk, but it also just means that I spend like 3 years getting GL's music, and it's brutal. So I am trying, I do want to answer questions. So please still ask questions. I might not get to all of them, but I want to do my best to still listen to the artists that are sending in. Let me hear this outro real quick. It's so good to see you again, Clayton. And I want that dry. I wouldn't even mind. I do like going back to the acoustic riff again right there, but I also wouldn't mind you just drawing up the vocal in passing time. I wouldn't mind even just like drying that up, like go all like shrink it down to mono, dry, punchy vocal in the middle and just end with that. And then don't go back into the acoustic again. It also saves you like 15 seconds from a song structure, playlist ability, retention standpoint on the business side. That's going to, it might help you a little bit to just like tighten it up, like just cut some of the fat here and there, which is why I was talking about vocal structure, early on too. Like let this be powerful, punchy. In time, and just like let it fall, like let it just fall right there. No reverb, no delay, dried up next track hits. Like I like the idea of like a little bit more of an abrupt stop right there. The guitar sounds fine. Going back into the guitar riff, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. That's beautiful. But I also kind of like the idea of just like cutting some of the fat and getting it back, 12, 15 seconds off the outro right there and keeping it nice and punchy. Because that puts you there. Even with that cut, you're still close to 4 minutes because it's a pretty long song structure. This is beautiful, man. Y'all show some love. That's Clayton in the building. Clayton, I love and appreciate you, man. I'm so glad to see you just like back making music. You might have been doing a lot more of this in the background than maybe I was even able to see. But I'm so grateful, man, just to see that name in the chat again. Always, always, always love and appreciate what you do. Y'all show some love to Clayton in the trap. Show some love to Clayton. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. I got some music to get through. Quick reminder as well, if you do want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link and just read through it and follow all of the details there. These are 20 to 30 minute consultations. They're long form, very long form sometimes. Like in this case where I'm answering 15 questions in between. These are 20 to 30 minute consultations to get into the mix, production elements, sound design, lyric and song structure, so on and so on. It's a really, really long form breakdown. So if you are interested in a multiple listen, deep dive consultation, go to my profile, click on the link and just read through it and follow all the details there. Let's get into it. Let's keep it moving. We got Derek Bennett in the building. Derek, I know it's been a second, so let me know if you're in the chat. Let me know if you're still here. Michael, thanks for tapping in. Yeah, if you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and just read through and follow all the details there. No, they sold it. Y'all ever add like 50,000 things to your, or like $50,000 worth of stuff to your reverb cart? And then get like mad and like that you're never going to buy and they get mad when someone buys it. I was like, no, someone just bought this AC30 I had in there. I was not going to buy it. Anyways, side note, if you're a producer, you know the pain. Or any sort of artist or musician. You're just constantly adding stuff to your like reverb and eBay cart and stuff. And then like, they bought it. I was not going to buy that. I got $40,000 worth of stuff on my reverb cart that I'm not pulling the trigger on. All right, we got Derek Bennett in the building. Let's go. Just an instrumental tonight. Just wanted to see how we're looking on this early demo of a new worship track. No guitars yet, but they're coming, I'm assuming. Wanted to get the basics down before sending off to guitars. This is actually a song from album 2 that I'm redoing the production on because I didn't like the arrangement before from my old producer. I like my new producer more. Me. That's Derek, not me. Derek. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited. Let's dive in. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. Y'all keep tapping the screen, share out the live with a few people. And then once again, if you do want to submit for a consultation, go to my profile, click on the link and just read through and follow the details. We'll get you up on the board. You can check the board over on the purple or red app. All love to you, man. All right, this is no title on this track so far. This is fresh. Let's get into it. This is Derek Bennett. I got a feeling. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why that was like my gut reaction. I haven't. Let's go, Derek. Yeah. Let's go, Keenan. Let's go. GTSK. What's up, man? He's like, damn it. He's like, here. That's like when you like hear the mix with a fresh ear and you're like, oh, damn. Lisa, welcome in. I think I still have you up there. Yes, I do. I got you. I got you. Just started this. Okay, so you rebuilt this fresh from scratch. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, people send an AI. As long as you just let me know like how I can benefit you. We go into a lot of depth and detail here. So I just want to be valuable. I want to be valuable. So if there's a way that I can be, I'm not against it. Let's go, Jay. Let's welcome in. That's in my eye. Yeah, there's a lot of people that come through here that are like that. The 50s are great. I used to have a pair of 50s, 50Xs. They're great. Highly recommend. Let's go, Derek. Let's go. Y'all show some love to Derek Bennett. This will sound cool with vocals, I promise. He's like, hold on. I know sometimes you hear an instrumental on your own and you're like, wait, what was I doing? What's the structure of this? Yeah, I see some of y'all asking over here. If you do want to submit your music, you definitely can. I got time for a couple more. If you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through it and follow all the details there. If you want to check the line, which is fairly full right now, but if you want to check the line, go to my what am I talking about? The red app, YT. That's where the line, the order, the minimum, and everything is. Huzzah, thank you for the follow. I'm sure I'm butchering that, but thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, that sounded so repetitive hearing it on here. I mean, you do have largely the same progression and sound design all the way through, so we can break that down. Maybe some ways to switch that up a little bit, even beyond just the loudness, the amplitude of that synth. You could automate some filter changes on there so it dries up a little bit on, like maybe your, just ways you can automate to have this grow where your first chorus, where you have that synth as the main lead, the main stack right there. You could filter it down a couple notches on the cutoff to keep it a little bit pluckier, a little bit darker, and you slowly open it up over the course of the song so it feels like it grows and morphs. So it's not just dun dun da 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 like the whole structure of the song. You can allow it to move and morph a little bit. We can break it down. All right, this is just loosely Worship Song by Derek Bennett. This got no name right now. It's still fairly early. Just did this last night. So let's get into it. Let's start off from the top. My first instinct is it does sound like a 2000s house track, kind of like early on, like a 2000s EDM track. I'm kind of curious what it would sound like if you just leaned into that a little bit more, just because right now, you have this, and that's kind of just the way that this even introduces itself, I feel like would lend itself to kind of like a worship house record. I don't know if that exists or if that would be cool or not, but the way that I hear this kind of a piano, this is very like a 90s EDM, like 90s house piano, kind of like the MX61 we were talking about earlier. And so I'm kind of curious if we could, like, one of the things we always talk about with your production is like, how can we line up the production and your sound design choices in order to make sure that everything's pointed in the right direction? Like if we're metal, we're going metal. For cinematic, we're going cinematic, or some really creative hybridizing of those two genres or something like that in order to make sure that everything fits. My initial thoughts when I wrote it was elevation. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know exactly what you're talking about. What I would do then, I don't think I have anything on here right now. Let me see. What the hell? Hold on. Okay. Let me see something here real quick. I don't think I have anything on here that would sound good, so probably ignore whatever I'm about to do. I mean, that's sick, but that's not what I'm looking for. Why is it reminding me of Parks and Rec? Okay. Let's skip that. I don't need to do that because that's monophonic over a polyphonic piano, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, The Office, you know. Oops. But then the isn't that kind of like Parks and Rec? Dun, dun, dun. Or maybe yeah, it could be either one. I mean, they're the same creator, so it could be either one. Okay, let's dig into this for a second. That is irrelevant. Yeah. You already have like the warm rolling bass underneath it and the kind of housey piano right there. So yeah, I think then on the drum side, on your percussion, drums, low end bass and stuff like that, we need to lean that direction a little bit more so we can break that down a little bit too. Is it Levin Oya? I appreciate you tapping in. If you do want to check the line, go to my profile and then go to the Red app, YT. It's all of my platforms are listed right there. Go to the Red app, initials YT, and then you can see the line, the order of the minimums there. Sounds good, Gio. Appreciate you being here. So like, I feel like, again, this is like talking about like having the same dynamics and same sound design for the vast majority of the song. I would like cut the synth here or do it with a different synth, right? So like you have this, this big, like you have that big movement right there. And then after that, when you go to this synth right here, I would change it to a different one. Something maybe a little darker, pluckier, just a different feel, different aesthetic. Don't do that, Jesus. Off the fifth right there. Just give that a different tone and a different texture. I think it's just too much of the like stacked saws with resonance right there at the top. And it just makes it feel like a little bit brittle, too bright, a little bit too like on the nose. So I think we can kind of change sound design there just a little bit. Let some of these melodies, don't feel like you have to use one synth to do a lot of things or one string to do a lot of things. Feel free to compartmentalize your sound design so it feels more interesting to listen to. So it doesn't feel like there's one sound that's constantly hitting your ears. It can start to grate and get brittle over time. But if you have changes in sound design, changes in texture and color and stuff like that, it'll definitely feel more interesting to listen to over the long term. Yeah, my whole life, baby. That's what I do full time. Especially if you're perceiving this as your verse structure on the C. Nothing wrong with the melody. It's a nice, like, expanded C major that gives you some texture. It gives you some interesting movement right there. But I think there's so much. Yeah, if this is the verse, then that's where I would definitely bring it down to something like that's a little bit darker, shorter decay, a little bit more plucky. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Yeah, any genre, any level of preparedness. Bring it down to something that's a little bit darker. It's like a little tighter, a little darker, a little bit less resonant, a little bit less sharp and transient, so that feels like there's actually space for that vocal to exist. Because if this is going on in the background, and you have a vocal over the top like that, there's a lot stepping on each other's toes, even beyond the mixing profile. Like there's just a lot that's gonna be stepping on each other's toes. And so I wanna make sure that there's space for a vocal there. And I feel like if you're gonna have these big, bright, resonant stacks of saws on the hook, making it feel really vibrant, really energetic, then you should probably contrast that with a little bit more like darker, shorter. Like there's a lot of release on these synths too. So you hear how they blend together, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. But it would be nice to contrast that and have like maybe a darker, more like a lower cutoff on your filter, shorter decay, maybe a shorter release, so that your verses feel really contrasted from your choruses here. Hey, welcome in. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Thanks for being here. And it is also just like very repetitive. I don't mind holding. I don't mind like a verse that's like just kind of holding. In this case, just holding on the C major. I don't mind a verse that's like holding on there. But you might want to have like some change of, the. Right, just like, dude, I'm playing this piano and shaking the whole camera and everything. I'm so sorry if I'm making y'all dizzy, but everything's connected here. The camera's on a mount, the piano's a part of the desk, so it's just the way it's gonna be. But having just like dun 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 dun, like even on the one section. So if on one section, A section, you go dun, it's just holding, and then. And you go back into it, right? Like it's one little change on your B section there on like just on your fourth measure that makes it a little bit more interesting, right? Just so it's not just the whole, I just keep hearing the same melody, the same synth, the same sound design, the same progression over and over again. Some small changes to throw a wrench in the system. It's just gonna make it more interesting to listen to. Okay, let's keep pushing a little bit. Perry, thank you for the follow. Probably bringing a bass on this build up too. C to the F. Of course, yeah, if you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, just read through and follow the details there. I got time for like a couple more songs. I'm getting towards the tail end here, so I can take like a few more people, but not too many. So if anybody wants to submit, you definitely can. That's up to you. No pressure, no rush. I'll take like maybe 2 or 3 more songs. Because right now you're really relying on this camera's gonna drive me nuts. I'm in the very near future, I'm redoing the studio right now. So in the near future, that won't be up there and it'll be a little bit more stable here. This is just chaotic. You're really relying on that lead synth and driving with the piano and the bass a lot right now, as opposed to just like letting a couple other things live in their moment. And the piano is just going. Right? Like just the piano's just like living in a space versus the camera's going. I don't want it's a nice camera. I don't want to drop it. I'm not trying to bust anything right now. Yeah, saw the world shaking. You know the earthquakes we get in South Texas. It's crazy. It's cause like this. I'm selling this desk. I'm gonna get a new desk in here. And I'm redoing a lot of the studio and organizing a lot in here right now. It's chaos. It's chaos right now. It's so messy. But right now the camera's on a mount on the other side, like on the speaker mount over on the other side of the desk here. And then the keyboard that I have is in a drawer that's in the desk. It's all a part of the same desk system. So anything that I do on here shakes everything. The mic is also mounted to the desk right now. It's crazy. Everything's mounted. So that's why like anytime I'm like typing or I'm like playing the piano, you'll see everything shake. I'm so sorry about that. It's wild. Hey, no worries at all. No, is it Grizzy? Yeah, no worries at all. There's no pressure. The way that we format these streams are really, really long form. They're really, really in-depth analysis. They're about 20 to 30 minutes per song. It's not a review. There's no trash or pass ratings or polls. It's a really long form, detailed breakdown of the structure of your music. So it wouldn't be fair to the other ton of people that have sent in for me to just have you go straight in. The whole desk is a whammy bar. It's true. It wouldn't be fair to all of the other people that have paid to do their full consultation. And so I would just encourage you. We have so many amazing, generous people in here. Nearly every single live stream, I wouldn't say every time, but nearly every single live stream, we have someone that sends in just to support the community and give them support, get them up on the board, and give them some credit to get their song played. So I would just say to become a part of the community, man. Chat in the chat, network with people, collaborate with people, make yourself known. And there's always some incredible people in here that are so generous. So definitely hang out, man. I appreciate you being there. Thank y'all for the follows as well. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much for doing that. Alicia, 100% you can. Definitely. Yeah, 100% you can. Yeah, you can go back to back, Alicia. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, let's get into this. I think we covered most of that there. No, you're next right now, Alicia. You're next right now, Alicia, so you can send in. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate y'all. Bridge. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Y'all are so kind. I appreciate it. Same thing. We're back in this. Now the drums match it, right? We're back in that same sequence right there. So that's where I feel, yeah, of course, dude. Yeah, we listen to a ton of different genres here. We get metal nearly every single live stream. I like it. Actually, I just produced a progressive metal track for a client. I guess it was like maybe a month and a half ago. It was a cool track. Competai, welcome in. Okay, like on this section here, this is where I would potentially like find a way to shift your progression away from this 1 4 6 5 that's kind of happening the entire time. That whole movement right there is very, very constant, even to your bridge. Your drums change, but I would love to like change to like, so maybe your hook is here. Again, sorry for the shaky camera. And then maybe go into your bridge with like a excuse me, Jesus. God damn. Like shift the energy. You could still keep the A minor to G right there and then go hook back again, back to the C major, right? And keep the progression a little bit more open. But I would definitely find at least one moment beyond the verses where you hold on the C major where you open up the progression and you shift a little bit to where your progression changes. Otherwise, the sound will get monotonous, the structure will get monotonous, and the progression will be very, very consistent. There are songs that keep the same progression all the way through, but what you will typically get is really interesting vocal changes, or if it's the same progression all the way through, really interesting like production and sound design choices that will make it feel a little bit more interesting. So that's, I would definitely recommend. Thank you for the follows, y'all. Appreciate it. I would definitely recommend either sound design changes and or progression changes, especially on your bridge. You can shake it up just a little bit. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Why do I always fail to upload your music? What do you mean, Day? It's good to see you in here. Matt, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you so much. Is it NDR? Thank you for the follow as well. I really appreciate y'all coming in. I do not know Band-Aids by Katy Perry. If y'all want to send in, you can. I've got time for like 2 or 3 more tracks. Nothing too crazy. If y'all want to send in, all of the details are at my profile. I need to get Alicia's second one up there. I need to adjust minimums because we're at the end of the live here. If you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and just read through and follow all the details there, and we'll get you up on the board. KS is in the building. Day, thank you for the heartbeat. KS, thank you for the heartbeat. I appreciate you a lot. I see piano there. Can you play Another Day in Paradise? I probably can. I would just have to play it by ear. KS, thank you for the lightning. Thank you for the go. I appreciate the gifts, y'all. Thank y'all so much for the love. Okay, let me get into the outro of the song, y'all. I got to stay focused because I've been ranting like crazy today. I've been talking a lot, which is good. Sal, thank you for the follow. I've been ranting a lot today. We've been talking a lot of tracks here at Track Talk, but I do need to focus on these songs. Otherwise, I will never finish any of these songs. Not at all. Not at all, Alicia. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. I've literally had someone that's why when I talk about the spread of quality that we've heard here, we have had a literal, like a voice. We had someone send in a song. Actually, in the same live stream, we had someone send in a song that was a voice memo of them humming in a Starbucks booth, trying to build a melody. And they sent it in asking if I could help them build a chord progression over it so that they could start building the structure of their the structure of their song. And in that same live, we've had a Grammy winning musician. So we're going to get a big spread. So don't worry about if it is live, if it's studio, if it's unfinished, if it's mixed. We're going to hear things all the way across the board. Some that are very polished and professional, people that are, that are veterans in the industry. And then we're going to have people like, hey, I have been like playing guitar for 2 months. I don't even know if this is good. Can you help me build structure? So I don't want anybody to feel insecure. I'm not here to roast you. I'm not here to trash you. I'm here to help. I'm here to consult. I'm here to help you with your structure, help build, offer tools and tips and actionable feedback so you can help build on the quality of your music. So that's what we're here to do. Would you be against the Okay, got you, Alicia. I got I'll get that updated here in a second. Okay, Derek, let's close out the end here. Wes, thank you for the follow. And then same thing here. If you're going for a little bit more of like the Planet Shakers, Elevation, Young and Free, this is like a very acoustic production structure right here. I mean, we've got grand piano, we've got bongos and congas in the background with shakers, we've got acoustic drums. It feels very acoustic. It feels like very much edging that way. And then you randomly get this like house synth from the 90s, right? So I just think similar to some of the stuff we've talked about with, other pockets that we've looked into and other songs that we've heard from you. I feel like I would just focus a little bit more and compartmentalize what instruments are doing what. Don't make the piano and that synth do all of the work. Separate it out into 6 different instruments that are doing their own thing, right? You might have one piano that's just doing this, or it's just handling chords. It's just doing this. That's it. And then another synth is doing. You know what I mean? Like you can separate out a couple of the different elements that are happening there, so that they're not all like fighting for the same space and trying to fill in too many roles right now. And then I would probably make sure you still have some. If you're going to use live drums like that, make the quantization and the velocities really consistent because you don't want a super live sound. And I would also probably layer it with some digital drums as well, strategically, really dry. Like sometimes even just like a clap, it could be pretty quiet too, but like a clap over the snare. Another kick that's a little bit sharper and more transient. I like some of the tom movements that you have in here. Sometimes it can be beneficial to still have some like house style hats and shakers that kind of fill in the middle there as well. So this doesn't feel like it's biased all the way towards acoustic sometimes, and then randomly just a really loud synth. So find a way to kind of blend these a little bit better, and I think you'll be in a much better spot. Let me hear the outro. KS, thank you for the shares, man, and the gifts. I appreciate you so much, man. I hope you're doing well. Hey, thank you for the hat and mustache. I appreciate you. Yeah. I'm glad you're early because this day. Thank you for the hat and mustaches, plural. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for the love. Y'all show some love and support to Derek Bennett in here. Show some love to Derek Bennett in here. He's a very talented producer. This is an early track. This is an early demo. There's going to be guitars. There's going to be vocals. It's a very early track. So I'm excited to see how you build this out. But show some love and support to Derek. If you catch him live, show some love and support. That's one of the family right there, one of the OGs. So definitely show some support to the family over there. Okay, Leisha, it's under a different name, right? I think I got it. I just want to make sure I'm getting the right name up on the board. Just because. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Sorry. Brain is doing brain things. Yo. Appalachian sun. There's Leisha. And then I just got another one in. Let me know who the other one. I just got another. Just got two in. So I want to make sure I get these in order. Okay, so let me get the ×2. Got you. Boom. Beautiful. 2. Welcome in. Nor, thank you for the roses. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, if you want to submit, I got 2. I gotta get this. Actually, I'm about to close up the lines. Here. I gotta get whoever this artist is. LH, initials LH. Let me know who that is. Please send me a PayPal I can send to. Day, it's all at my profile. Go to my profile, click on the link. If the link's not working there, go to my IG. It's the same link over there. And there's a PayPal there. There's all the different steps are there. Metal. Okay, let me know really quick. I'm still looking for whoever just submitted. I don't see the email in either. Let me see. Metal. Spam. It might have gone to spam. Let me see. I'm about to close. I'm looking for this one submission, but I can't find them. So I'm trying to get this person in here so that I can get them on the line because we're about to close up the line. Here. I will be live again tomorrow, and I'll be hopefully live longer. I've had to do a ton of work today, so I'm literally only on for like 2.5 hours today. I had to get a bunch of projects finished and revised earlier. Kai, thank you for the follow. And so I haven't been able to get on for very long the last couple of days. I've been just slammed with working with projects. So obviously prioritize those. But I do want to get on for a little bit longer tomorrow if I can. Let me know who sent in through the website. I don't have an email yet, I don't think, but who sent in through the website? Your initials are LH. Let me know. I'm going to go ahead and get into Alicia. So Alicia, hop in the chat. Let me know. I want to make sure that you're here, and let's dive into these songs. Okay, I'm going to go through the first one first. Typically, what I do is with a back-to-back is usually the issues that are plaguing people are typically the same across different mediums, right? So if you if you're dealing with a really bright, harsh, brittle vocal, typically speaking, that's how it is on all of your songs. So what I'll do, Alicia, is I'm going to play them both back to back, and then we'll break down them both. There's some issues that maybe cross over that are copy and paste for both tracks. That way, it's a little bit more consistent. All right, let's see. Okay, Alicia said, admittedly, I'm not the musician, only his very proud cousin. That's so kind and generous of you to send these in. I would love to hear what you think. Hailing from the mountains of the Carolinas, the Appalachian Sun is a regional folk Americana artist that delivers original storytelling lyrics with a Southern Gothic twang. Let's go. His fans have described him as if Death Cab for Cutie ran a moonshine still. Let's go. That's beautiful. And then we have another one. This is a live track from a festival. That'll be the second track that we dig into. Welcome in. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank y'all for joining the stream today. Let's dive in. I'm excited. Let's get into this first one here. And then let me know. This is over on the Purple app. This is my cousin. I'm just helping gather any constructive feedback and critiques. He is a proud mountain boy raised in his grandparents' honky-tonk bar and was a mortician before COVID laid him off. The first track was professionally recorded at Sit and Spin in Greenville, South Carolina. He plays banjo strings on an acoustic guitar, often straps a tambourine to his shoe, and on When I Die is also using a vintage suitcase kick drum. Beautiful. Love it. In the second track, he has a stand-up bass accompaniment. Beautiful, beautiful. He's very tongue and dark and whimsical. I call him a Gothic Willie Nelson. I'm hyped. Let's go. Let's get into it. This is When I Die by the Appalachian Sun. Let's go.
I can drive from Asheville to Tucson in my sleep, from Boone to Chattanooga, tripping LSD. When I die, lay me to rest guess belong got me. But I'm Phoenix to Dallas.
What's up, Joseph?
Just to
Check your email if you haven't already.
with some
I
other
message you on
gal
IG.
that's sweet on me. 'Cause when I die, oh, when I die,
No, you're good. I appreciate you being here.
everything's gonna be alright. When I die, oh, when I die, I will be
What's up?
just fine.
Okay, tempo change.
I went west on Jesse, east on Emily. I'll make it back to Jesse eventually.
Thank you for the follow.
Coast to coast, you can blame it all on me. Her rambling life.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, Alicia.
Finally went west on Jesse, east down Emily. Gonna
Kenny, thank you for the follow. Go to my profile, click on the link, but I'm closing the line soon. Just keep that in mind.
You can blame it all on me. I ain't never been so broke that I couldn't up and
Got you,
leave.
Joe.
'Cause when I die, oh, when I die, everything's
He's great, Alicia.
gonna be
Fantastic.
alright. And when I die,
Thank you for the follow, y'all.
oh, when I die,
Love the emotion.
I will be just fine. And I can drive from Asheville to Tucson in my sleep. From Boone to Chattanooga, tripping LSD. Oh, when I die, lay me to rest near Curler Wheat. Along
Love
the
the tempo changes, too.
Nantahala up on Wilson's Creek. Oh, when I die.
I love that he's the one doing all of
Now
this,
when
too.
I die, everything's gonna be alright. When I die,
Super catchy.
oh, when I die, I will be just fine.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Y'all, show some love. Excuse me. Show some love, show some love. That is When I Die by the Appalachian Sun. We're going to get into a second song here, so we're going to go back to back. So usually when I do it back to back, in this case, Alicia sent these in for their cousin. I'll go back to back, and then we'll break everything down from there. Miles in the building. What's up? Or no, Mike, not Miles. So I have a glare from the lights in here on the screen. I can barely see sometimes. Thank you all so much for tapping in. Mike, if there is a Miles in here, thank you for being here as well. But Mike, appreciate you tapping in. I see a bunch of y'all dropping your songs in there too. I'm still waiting on Logan. Where's Logan? Let me know where Logan is. I'm still waiting on Logan because I think they sent something in, but I haven't seen them in the chat. I've been trying to get their attention. I want to make sure that I get them in the right spot. So if they're here, let me know. That way I can get you up on the board. And I don't know if I have swinging. Are you Logan? When I die. Sorry about that. Ignore that. Not Logan, probably. Okay, if Logan hops in the chat, let me know where you're at. That way I can get you up on the board. I can get everything in the right place here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and close up the lines here after we listen to these songs. He was a one-man band until recently. The stand-up bass is a great accompaniment, though. It adds a lot of the creepy low factor that he's been looking for. The live track is not the cleanest recording, but it does also nod at how authentic he is outside of the studio as well. 100%. Let's go to the live track. So let's go back and forth here. Okay, I don't know where Logan is, so I could probably take one more submission. But I need y'all to check the line first because I do have a stack of people. So if you do want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, but please check the red app first, YT. That way I can make sure that you know where the line is, what the minimums are and stuff like that, because it does change over the course of the live. Okay, let me go to this second track here. This is a live recording on the second one here. And then we'll close things up here in just a second. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate y'all tapping in. All right, this is Papa and the Devil. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, welcome in. Thanks for being here.
Where are my native Appalachian people at? Right on. Well, you know, something I discovered.
This is going to be raw. This is a live recording.
With our, World War or Vietnam veteran Papa and a witchy Meemaw,
Let's go, Rising Star. I love it. I appreciate y'all being here.
And, well, this song's about finding my Papa's hooch out in the shed. he was drafted into Vietnam, right? So he started drinking jungle hot alcohol at the age of 18, and that's not the best way to start drinking, I'm gonna tell you that. Gonna get lit on whiskey, yeah. The devil's gonna get us tonight. Gonna get lit on moonshine whiskey, and the devil's gonna get us tonight. The devil's gonna get us tonight.
Southern Gothic and amazing guitar. He's definitely talented. I love that he's performing live too.
Is he active on social media as well?
That's not what we do here. If y'all do want to check what we do here, you can go to my profile and click on the link, but I appreciate you being here so much. Thank y'all for tapping in. I appreciate you hopping in. Okay, cool. Okay. TikTok, YouTube, and Insta. Okay, nice. The upright does add a lot to this. His structures are really catchy. He does a great job, even with like a really organic style like this, of keeping the structure really consistent. Like, I feel like I've obviously only heard these songs for 2 minutes, and I feel like I know parts of the song already. That's a superpower. That's great. That's beautiful. Love it. What's up, KP? Welcome in. We got time to bribe him, let's go, mama, papa. Hey. Gonna get lit on whiskey, yeah, and the devil's gonna get us tonight. We gonna get lit on moonshine whiskey, and the devil's gonna get us tonight. The devil's gonna get us tonight. Little mama know the devil's gonna get us tonight. We gonna get lit on moonshine whiskey, and the devil's gonna get us tonight. And this is just a live recording too. This is just raw. This is raw from the room. Really, really cool. Y'all show some love. That is, and shout out to Alicia. Alicia, thank you so much for sending this in. This is their cousin that goes by the Appalachian Sun. So if you, I don't know if they have, I know I'm listening to stuff on Bandcamp, so you can obviously support there, but if they have stuff on platforms, please let me know so people can go find them. They can stream it, add it to their playlist, like it, follow, all that fun stuff. Show them some love and support. That is the Appalachian Sun. That song in particular is a live recording of Papa and the Devil. And then we also heard When I Die, which is their only studio recording that I have here in front of me. So let's go back through that one. We'll dive into a couple little details here, but he does what he does really, really well. Bandcamp has the most. Spotify only has 2 songs right now. Okay, cool. Sounds good. I love it. I'm also a fan of I literally just posted about this today, about small artists going direct. If you're a huge artist and you have a lot of exposure and a lot of movement, obviously, and you're getting a ton of streams, and those streams are going to pay out. But you're going to get, if you have under like 1,000 monthly listeners, which is 83% of all of Spotify, by the way, it's like 7.9 million people, artists on Spotify have less than 1,000 monthly listeners. If you have less than 1,000 monthly listeners, then it's like more worth it for you to get 3 people to purchase your track, 4 people to purchase your track every month, like on iTunes or on Bandcamp, than it is. It's more financially worth it for like 3 or 4 people to buy it than it is for you to focus on streaming. Start building a direct audience. Start building people that are connected to you, that are fans of you. Start a Patreon where for, $1 a month, you get the song a week early, stuff like that. Stuff like this, I think it's people, until you get a lot of exposure, the streaming doesn't do anything for you. You've got to get at least, probably like 100 to 200,000 streams a month for it to mean anything. That's obviously a lot. That's more than, most of us are doing. It makes a big difference. So I love that he's going direct. I love that he has his Bandcamp set up, that he's performing, that he's pushing people there. I think that's really, really smart move. And you also own your audience a little bit more. All right, let's run this back. Let's run it from the top. This is When I Die by the Appalachian Sun. So we're going to dive into it really quick here, and then we'll close up here in just a little minute. I'm still looking for Logan. Logan, if you happen to be in the chat, Kundra, welcome in. If Logan is in the chat, please let me know where you're at, because I think I got something from you, but I'm not sure. I don't have an email yet, but I'm just trying to double check where things are. We will be live again tomorrow, y'all. The line is closed up right now, but we will be live again tomorrow, so definitely tap in. I'm hoping for a much longer live. Tomorrow. It's a little bit shorter today. I'm trying to get some other things moving here, and a lot of projects I had to work on today. So let's dive into this. Let me go ahead and close this up real quick. And if y'all see a Logan, y'all let me know. Draw some attention, and I'll check it out. Okay, let's get into this track. Welcome back, Gio.
I can drive from Asheville to Tucson.
And he's working on building more local shows across the Georgia, Tennessee, North, South Carolina, and the Virginia region. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I'm so happy that he's doing that. Senko Music, welcome into the chat, man. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing fantastic today. Let's get it.
I can drive from Asheville to Tucson in my sleep. From Boone to Chattanooga, tripping LSD. When I die, let me.
I'm kind of assuming, based on, and again, you might know, you Lisa, very, excuse me, Jesus, you very well might not know a lot of these details, so you don't have to answer some of these things. I'm kind of assuming, and maybe you do. I'm kind of assuming, so good to see you, man, that he's recording all of, based on the rhythms that I'm hearing, based on like the action that I'm hearing, I'm assuming he's like recording all of this at the same time. Does that ring a bell to you? Do you happen to know that information? I'm kind of assuming that this is like, he is literally doing this all at the same time. It's all mic'd up and he's recording all at once. Not like doing a tambourine on one track, playing the acoustic on one track, and doing the vocal on another track. Excuse me. Gosh, man. It's freaking allergies. Whoops. It's moving. I believe for this session, he recorded a 3-track EP and only had 4 session hours. Yeah, so yeah, totals. That makes sense. So he's probably locking everything down on one track. So there's going to be some bleed between some of these instruments, which makes some of the processing a little bit more interesting. I would love occasionally and again, I want this is not a modern pop record. I want it raw. I want it organic. I want it to feel very natural and be very transparent. I don't want to hear processing really going on, but I would love a little bit of dynamic control on the vocal, because as he's moving and he's playing and he's also stomping with the tambourine and the kick drum, you're getting a lot of like proximity changes from the microphone. So you hear his vocal kind of cut in and out of the mix a little bit. Some of his words fall out of the mix, and they kind of come back in again with a little bit more clarity. And so I do wish that there was like a little bit of a tighter like threshold on his compressor, if there was one at all, to just smooth out some of that a little bit, bring up some of that low end information so the vocal felt a little bit more forward, and a little bit even like the lower elements of his vocal still shine in the mix. Right now it's all loud and it's all forward, and so you lose that vocal anytime that he falls away from the mic for a second or moves around. You do lose a little bit of clarity and distinction for that vocal. Obviously tracking separate, it's going to be easier to control that, but that's not always the way to do it. Like with a song like this, you want it to be natural, you want it to be punchy, and you want it to feel very cohesive. So I think on the vocal channel, you could potentially, thank you for the follow, you could potentially tighten up that threshold just lightly, just a kiss, like just 3 dB of reduction at 3-to-1 ratio, middle down the road, and just kind of lift that vocal a little bit more, so that if he does get a little bit quieter, that he doesn't feel like in this case, like even like I could get close to the microphone, I could back off a little bit, and because I have multiple compressors on my vocal, you're not hearing a big change in dynamic. Even if I come in and out of the mix a little bit and I float away and then I get a little bit closer, you're not hearing a dramatic change. Feels a little bit more consistent. That's more of what I want to hear in his vocal, just because he does have a great voice. There's great energy. There's great structure here. And so I don't want to lose anything that he's saying. I don't want to miss any of the message or any of the energy of his vocal. I don't think that he's got a very dynamic vocal range, so the ability to fine tune that would be important to have 100%. I'm going to attempt to get a soundboard, direct multi-track recording for an upcoming beautiful. Yeah, you can recommend. There's a lot that you can do. You can run straight to interface in a DAW if you want to, output from the mixer itself, or you can also get a dry mixer, multi-track mixer, like Tascam makes them. Their model I think they have a 12, a 16, a 24. There might even be an 8. Those, if you have direct outs, welcome from Greece. Appreciate you being here. If they have direct outs, or he could even just multi-track into that, and you could literally save it all to an SD card or run it straight to a computer as an audio interface, and then be able to just take all of the tracks from the live show and mix it in the studio, just like mix it in his own DAW. And you can even set up what I would do for stuff like this if you're doing live shows, so it doesn't sound weird. You can also set up, especially if people know some of his music, set up a crowd mic as well, just a loose crowd mic that's just kind of shoved over the top. You could pick up some of the room as well, so it doesn't feel like a weird, dry live recording that's like not that polished. You know, like that's kind of awkward sometimes. It can be helpful to feel the room in the live recording. So a crowd mic can be really important as well. But yeah, the Tascam model series are great. The Model 12 is great. I've used a Model 16 before. Someone else that I don't have it, but someone else that has it. And they're great. They do a great job of what they do. Is it, I can't read from here. Soraya, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it.
Along the Nanohala, east of Tennessee. When I die, oh, when I die, everything.
And then also get content. I don't know if you are already, but yeah, get content from the live show as well and sync it to the studio recordings, especially if he's tracking to a click or anything like that. Try to create some live footage from that. That also, if you create live footage of that recording and you also multi-track all of that as well. So if you multi-track the entire live performance and get like just iPhone 4K footage, right, in vertical of the entire show, sync it to the recorded audio, and then you have like a really high quality example of his live performances that you can post to social media that's a little bit more engaging. It feels a little bit more energetic, right, than like just a room mic like the other recording that you sent me where it's like you're just hearing the room, it's a little muddy and stuff like that, and you can't really get the full experience. People are more likely to translate a live performance if they hear it in good quality. So if you're coming across social media and you see like a rock band and you can hear the quality of their structure and their production, a lot of times that's synced to their studio recording, and then they have like a crowd mic or something to make it sound live-ish, and it makes it feel really cohesive. And then the translation from seeing what they do live and what they do in the studio when they're listening in their car is really direct. You're not missing anything. You don't like hear them live, like, oh, it's crazy, then it sounds like shit in the studio. Like you want to have a really great transition between the two.
It's gonna be alright when I die. Oh, when I die.
He should, because the live show is going to be one of the like people performing live, especially in the world of AI. And this isn't a pro or anti-AI spiel here, don't worry. But in the world of AI, one of the distinguishing factors for a lot of people is the ability to go see music live, right? And go see, go to a dive bar, go to a venue in Nashville or Deep Ellum or wherever, like, and go and see a real artist. That'll be one of the determining factors. There's a lot of music that will be replaced and that people will struggle to create in certain genres and certain subgenres because of the the building up of AI right now, just how much of a bubble that it is. But one of the reasons that people are going to go the other direction is because they want to be able to see people live. They want to get something a little bit more raw and rough around the edges. So I would definitely be promoting that like crazy. He's a good musician. He's a one-man band. He's got tambourines and kick drums on his feet. He's got a guitar. He's singing. Like, that's crazy. That's really, really cool to see. People should definitely see that. So, I mean, if you got a phone pass, like, I don't know, I just have like an iPhone 15. Put it in cinematic mode. Put it in, you could even like, if you want to get crazy without doing anything too nuts, literally, you can get like really cheap. There's a bunch of different companies that make them. You can just get them on Amazon for like $20. Just get a little bit of a cage for the phone, and you can literally route it to, do I have one in here? I don't have mine in here right now. Oh, it's on my table out there. You can literally route it to, if you have an iPhone 15 or newer with a USB-C, you can route it straight to a solid state drive, an SSD. And so you could like record in 4K in cinematic mode, run it straight to an SSD, and then edit that with the high quality like edited audio straight onto your computer and have it be like a really good video, like almost like a live music video. It doesn't have to be like shitty stuff. Like it can be really good. So I would, definitely record the whole thing, get some good quality footage of the whole thing. If he does a 45-minute show or 30-minute show, I mean, you've got footage for months. You take 20 seconds of each different part of the song, you got months of footage. You can post once a day for weeks and weeks and weeks and have plenty of footage just from one show. And then if he does it more shows, you just keep doing that and you just pump out content every day. He's super talented though. He should be very, very proud of what he's doing.
From Winston-Salem to Denver, and all I can see some other man's got my woman Espelon got me.
So like, right, you can hear the long line. You hear like some of those words fall out of the mix. I still want those long line me. I still want that to be forward right there on the mic. You hear it. He's probably moving his head a little bit. That's where you're getting a little bit of that movement right there. From the most bar shows to single 45 minutes. That's beautiful. Yeah, dude, get footage of a show like once a week, and then just go crazy. You got tons of footage from that. Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for happening, Mitchell. Thank you for tapping in as well. I appreciate y'all being here.
But I'm Phoenix to Dallas just to be
welcome
with
in.
some other gal that's sweet on me.
All right, let me skip to this last little section right here. Yeah, I think for me, it's just I want that little bit of control, and then hopefully some of the tips for the live stuff will help. That's in the scrunching of an eyebrows that pump up his cheeks. Yeah, 100%. Hopefully some of this is helpful. Obviously, I'm getting a very specific look at what he does. That's why I'm focusing on the studio recording and stuff like that. Mention, thank you for the follow. Focusing on the studio recording just because that's where he's going to have the most control over what happens live. The live gives me a good example. That's why I want to learn. I want to make sure that you'll have the ability to sync live with live footage. That's going to be the easiest way for him to get traction online. I've seen so many like country and folk and rock bands and artists that have gotten traction by syncing live shows, because there's not that many people that are performing at scale. Syncing live shows to studio audio, it makes a huge difference.
And I can drive from
He's got a great voice. He's a great musician. There's so much that he has going on that is really fantastic.
Asheville to Tucson in my sleep. From Boone to Chattanooga, tripping LSD. When I die, lay me to rest near Curler Wheat. Along the Nantahala up on Wilson's Creek. Oh, when I die.
And then maybe someday he actually gets an upright bass consistently. He starts a band. He gets a fiddle player in the background. And, he hits the "When I Die," and then he has like a banjo solo. You get a fiddle in there. He could go crazy. There's so many people that love this. Let's go. See, I love it. Now he can get like a real isolated studio recording that feels really dynamic and really powerful. He's got it. Get some set, get a band, like get the bassist. I think the bassist is great. You could get someone that does some more percussion, and then you can also get a session fiddle. A session fiddle there would be great. Like there's little things that he could do, but that's just like building out his production structure. I got you, Eli. Yeah, 100%. I was about to close it up, so I'm going to run you in a second. I already got you up there.
I will be just fine.
Yo, show some love. Shout out to Alicia for sending this in. I appreciate you so much, Lisa. Thank you for the love and the support. You're amazing. I really appreciate you locking it over the last couple days. I appreciate what you do. And a shout out to the Appalachian Sun. That is When I Die, as well as Papa and the Devil. Go stream those songs. You can. I think he has 2 songs on platforms. You can find those. But you can also go to Bandcamp, maybe SoundCloud, YouTube. You can let me know and find some of these other songs as well. He's really talented. I'm excited to hear more from him and see how he kind of expands and grows as an artist. He's very, very, very talented. Kevin, or is it Kane? I can't see. Kane, we are closed for today. I already had Eli up from yesterday. In fact, Eli, you're already top of the list. You're ready to go. So I'm going to run Eli, and then we're closing up the line, and then I will be back on tomorrow. We'll open up the lines again. We'll get a fresh start, and we will open everything up and go crazy. So just y'all make sure y'all are following on Twitch. Make sure you're following on YouTube. The other platforms we're live. Following on TikTok. All of that good stuff. Tomorrow Central Time, so it'll be tomorrow afternoon Central Time. I'll open everything back up. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. And then we'll get back into to y'all's music. We'll take a bunch more submissions. Hopefully longer today. I've been working a ton just on projects and mixes that I was finalizing, so I'm not able to be on for very long today. And then we will back it up tomorrow, and we'll open everything up. Is it Rubba Tree Studios? What's your background in the industry? Yeah, Rubba, I appreciate you tapping in. Thank you for being here. So I work full-time as an audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do full-time. I've done that for the last 14 plus years. And I'm also a classically trained musician. That's my early foundation in music. Been playing drums since I was 4 years old. Been playing piano classically since I was 6 years old. Did guild and all of that fun stuff. Taught myself guitar at 8, started Pro Tools at 13, and then did a 2.5-year private mentorship in a studio in San Antonio, where I worked directly with one of the engineers. He was a professor at the Audio Engineering Institute in San Antonio at the time, which I think is dissolved now. But I did 2.5-year private mentorship in studio with him to learn audio engineering, live sound mixing, and stuff like that. Spent the next couple years largely doing live sound for organizations, events, and churches, and doing like live mixing. And then have slowly built out my music business to do more session work. I do a lot of guitars. Synthesis is probably my main thing. So I do a lot of session work with synthesis, and then I still do a lot of work as an engineer, and it's a full-scale producer. We're directly with Law Records and tour the country. Beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you hopping in. I'm always a huge fan. We get a lot of other engineers and producers and professionals in here. A lot of other studios from all around the world, honestly, but around the nation. So I'm always a huge fan of other studios coming in here, dropping knowledge that they have, commenting on stuff, offering clarity to artists that are looking for it. I love use Reason Studios. Let's go. There's not a whole lot of studios that are platforming Reason Studios as one of their main DAWs. So shout out to you. Shout out to you. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm about to get into the last song. I do need to use the restroom though, y'all. I used to use Reason for, there's one church that I was doing some sound for, and I was doing some background track programming with this particular church, and we were using Reason at the time. Mr. PHV, thanks for the follow. We were using Reason at the time, and I didn't use it long enough to appreciate it, so it was kind of chaos for me, because I was like jumping from Pro Tools to Studio One to Logic to Ableton to whatever. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and it was driving me nuts, and so I used Reason for like 4 months just at this one church, and then it drove me nuts. I used to. That was what I was doing for a while. Like when I first got out of the studio, I was working with different like events and churches for a while, helping them with their sound. I was doing some like music production, managing on stage and stuff like that. So I was kind of just helping in the background with a lot of different organizations. I don't do any anymore. Right now I'm completely in studio and completely remote, honestly. So I built out a production studio out of my this is the house that we're renting right now. I had a small studio in Dallas when we lived there. But I just do remote right now. So I built out a production studio in here. So it's a mess right now because I'm actually redoing the studio right now. I'm doing a bunch of different stuff in here. So I have a live drum set in here, a bunch of, guitars, bass, acoustics. I have like 15 synths in here. Synths are my favorite thing. I love the 80s. I love synths. So that's a lot of what my work comes from. That's the vast majority of what I do is just right here, remote in my production studio here. Looking to freelance for a tour in October. Our engineer has a new baby coming down. Where are you out of again? And I got to use the restroom, and then I'll be back, y'all, in a second. Oh, you said you're touring right now, but yeah, where are y'all sourcing from? Oregon. I want to move to where we're looking at. I don't know when, probably not in the like direct future, but soon-ish. Tours in Florida. There you go. We're soon-ish. We want to get out. We're in Texas right now. So we're trying to get out of here. But yeah, dude, thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you showing up in the chat today. Okay, give me a minute, y'all. I gotta use the restroom, and then Eli, if you let me see. Eli, you're still in the chat, right? All right, I'm gonna use the restroom, y'all, and I'll be right back for this last track. Got you, Eli. Yeah, I love Oregon. Love Oregon. We're looking at Oregon or Washington maybe. Texas is crazy right now. I'm trying to get out from the UK. Let's go. Shout out to Eli. Eli, we're about to get into your song here. You're gonna close us out. You're gonna close us out. Talk or pay for mentioning it. I'm not sure what you mean. August in the building. I do not, August. I do not. Okay, y'all. We're closed up, so this is going to be our last one. This is going to be our last one of the day. We got Eli in the building. Eli, you sent in the other day, so let me see where I should have you on here already. So just give me a moment to find it. If it's under another name, let me know. It might be. It might be. Let me see. Do. Let me see. Let me try. It's not on here. Let me double check. Let me double check spam. Double check that you copied it over exactly right really quick, just to make sure, because I'm not seeing anything in the email. Check spam too, and I'm not seeing it. Excuse me. And I did search for it, and it didn't pop up. So yeah, double check that it's sent over right, and then track. Sometimes they don't like me saying this on TikTok. So go to the TikTok. It's weird with stuff. Go to my profile, click on the link, and then when you're like going through the details to submit, the email's right there. The email's right there at the like towards the top. It's I think track talk submission or something like that. But sometimes they don't like me saying the email names. So just copy that over and just make sure it goes directly to that one, and then we'll play it for the last one here. No rush. You're good. Okay, let me wait for it to come in. Okay. Let me refresh. Do. Gabrielle, welcome in. Appreciate y'all tapping. Okay, I'm not. I'm gonna give it another minute. It might be if it's a WAV file or something. It might be Might be taking a little while to come in. I'm gonna give it another minute. And if it's out on platforms, let me know. I can always look it up too. It's a WAV file. Yeah, it might be just taking a little minute. So we'll give it a second. Or if you have the MP3, you can send the MP3 too. We'll get the same idea of the structure and stuff like that. We're closed for today. We're about to hop off after this last track right here, and then we'll be live again tomorrow. So y'all just, if you want to submit, excuse me, if you want to submit, just make sure that y'all are following, and we'll open up the lines again tomorrow. We'll open it back up. Wubsy's in the building. Eli, it just came in. We got it. God, these allergies. Hello, beautiful Wubsy. I appreciate you tapping in. All right, Eli, give me the details. Give me the details. We've got Eli in the building right here. Talk me through all of the details. Talk to me about the role that you play in this song. Details of the production, the mix, stuff like that. Let's get into it. All right, let's get it downloaded. All right, let's dive in. What's up, Zach? Wubsy, thank you for the heartbeat, man. We're closed for today, but definitely follow. We'll be live again tomorrow. Interesting sound design. You produced it. Let's go. Thank you, Wubsy.
Taking my glasses, yeah, she took. Taking my glasses, yeah, she took. Taking my glasses off. Glasses off.
You're a vocal too, right?
Glasses off.
Okay, cool, nice. Nice.
I'm live, take my glasses off like 6'9". I spice know I'm a big guy. I spice know I'm a big guy. I'm live, take my glasses off like 6'9". I spice know I'm a big guy. What's the time if you went to the jeweler and you ain't even get hit with a riptide? And you say that you'll fit fly, but my look got me kicked out the pub. That's because I got too many hugs, and they thought that was reason enough. Old heads got them hurt in the butt.
I don't. Let's go. Y'all show some love to Eli right here in the chat. Show some love. Shout out to Eli. I appreciate you sending this in. So glad you were able to make it back in today as well, Eli. Thank you so much for tapping in. Let's run it from the top. Let's dig into some details here. The biggest thing that stands, like right off the bat, the biggest thing that just stands out to me, for when you have some good sound design choices, some good vocal chops, some really creative dynamics and stuff happening in this song. So there's a lot of great things that are going on. And there's also a lot of like mud within the way that you're balancing. So one of the initial things that we'll talk about and that I would work on is just levels. It's just like basic gain staging and levels, and making sure that there's room for all of those elements in the mix. This is not supposed to be clean. It's supposed to be dirty and grimy and grungy and noisy and busy in some parts. But I still want clarity of all those different elements. The best, musicians and producers in this space, they still have distinction and clarity between their elements, even if it's distorted and crazy and busy, right? You still have a lot of good balancing that's going on. And when the bass comes in, it doesn't drown out the drums, and then the drums are non-existent. And then when the bass leaves, everything gets super loud again. Like, you want to have a good balance across all of these elements. So let's talk largely about that, like just kind of basic gain staging here, amplitude control and stuff like that, because that to me is going to make the biggest difference in how people perceive this record and how they listen to it. So let's dive in from the top. This is Eli. I think it's called Talk, right? I think it's called Talk. But shout out to Eli. I appreciate you sending this in so much. Lisa Marie, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Let's run it, and we're going to close out after this. Right from the beginning, it's interesting sound design. I like it a lot. Memorial Drive, welcome in. It's time. Like, I like this intro a lot. This intro to me, like, there's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of buildup right here that I actually really like. It's interesting. The vocal introduction is kind of weird and eerie and interesting. I actually like it. I like it a lot. Okay, first note is when you're bringing in your like rolling basses on the low end, your sub basses, most of your most of your bass elements, your warm pads, rolling basses, sub basses, stuff like that. Those are all for me probably like 3 or 4 dB too hot. They're coming in really, really strong, and as soon as they come in, beautiful. I love it, Eli. I love it. I love it. You got a lot of potential here. As soon as all of that bass comes in, everything else kind of fades, right? So you lose clarity in your sampling. There's a vocal that comes in underneath it, but you can't really hear what they're saying. All you kind of hear from the vocal is like their sibilants. You just kind of hear this little bright edge that kind of kicks in over the top. You don't really get any of the clarity of those elements that are happening right there. Free Rete, welcome in, and thank you for the heartbeat. I appreciate it. So I would just control on the low end. Make sure you're not like boosting, Pultec style, boost low end on the master too much, anything too dramatic. Keep it controlled, keep it balanced. You want this to sound good on every single system, right? So if someone has a sub in their car, if they have a sound bar by their TV, if they got Beats headphones while they're working out, or they're listening through their phone, you want it to sound balanced, right? In a case where a system can handle this, like if this were to play at a club or this was to play at a venue that has, 16 by 12 subs just around the room, this would take over the system. The bass would just drown everything out. All you would hear is that. You wouldn't get any clarity from it. So thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the heartbeat, the love you, the mini star. I appreciate you so much, Favorite Tay. Good to see you. So just rebalance that. You can pull some of the energy back. Thank you for the hand heart. Pull some of the energy back, control it a little bit, and choose which element you want to live in that space. If you have like a rolling pad, you've got a low bass, you have a sub in there, choose which is living in which space. They can't all coexist right on top of each other. Something has to give, right? You either need to like filter out some of the other ones to where one of them handles a little bit more of like a saturated mid, one is handling subharmonics at the bottom, and maybe the pad with the bass is handling just some of like the transients and the grit and the saturation at the top of the mix or something like that. And you have them kind of fitting over each other, kind of a puzzle piece fitting over each other to where they all work together, or you're carving a little bit of space between 100 and 300 hertz on one of those basses so that it still exists there, and you're filling that with another one of the basses. But if it's all just bass, boom, and it all hits forward, it will get muddy. It will get difficult to listen to. It will take over the mix in the right system. So just rebalance some of that, pull it back, get it back under control, and immediately you'll hear that vocal shine a little bit more. You'll get more clarity in your mix. You'll hear more of the elements that are coming into play. It'll immediately feel more open for you. This build up on the snare, again, compared to the vocal, the pads, and some of the other synthesizers that you have in there, this build up on the snare gets pretty hot. If I'm hearing it correctly, I think that this snare might be on a different channel than your other percussion. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe not. Hey, sounds good, Freebert. I appreciate you so much. I think I'm kind of assuming that snare buildup is on a different track than like your main percussion is. Because that snare gets super, 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 super loud, and then your percussion drops back by like 5 dB. Thank you so much for the gifts and the love, Freebert. I appreciate you a lot. So it is, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So what I would probably focus on is just making sure that your balance between all of your percussion elements is really clean as well. Because once again, you have the snare buildup on one channel, like we assumed. It builds up really, really hot, but then your main percussion channel or grouping is on its own, and that's 4 or 5 dB quieter. Not very good at using buses, something I need to work on. Yep, dive into that, dig into that a little bit. The buses are going to give you an umbrella, right, of processing. So sending all of your percussion to a bus is just going to give you a blanket that you can put over everything, where everything is affected by the same EQ curves, the same glue compression, the same saturation and effects and stuff like that. That's really what those buses are for. They're just stages of control throughout your mix to keep your dynamic range under control and your EQ curves under control, right? And you can also affect really specifically there as well. What I would probably do here is just bring down that snare buildup, bring down the snare buildup by, let's say, I'm throwing out some numbers here, but maybe 3 dB or so. Reduce that perceived energy, that perceived loudness by a bit, so that snare is not building up and then your drums are quiet. Pull back the snare buildup on that channel down 3 dB or so, and then probably push all of your other drums forward by about 3 dB, and then saturate them nicely. That'll help shave off the top a little bit, give it some warmth, give it some thickness, give it some energy right there. And all of those different things together, right? Reducing load in your subharmonics, 100 hertz and below, reducing some of the energy right there, so it's not muddy and boomy, bringing forward and saturating well your main percussion stack on that bus, pushing that forward by a couple dB, and reducing the energy on your buildup before then with that snare buildup that you have on like the 16ths. If you change all of that right there, you immediately get more clarity, you get less muddiness and boominess, you're going to get more punch and drive from your main drum structure. The whole song will feel like more energetic because there's more clarity from all those different elements, especially on the percussion side. Is it Melosa? We're closed for today. Line is closed for today, but we will be live again tomorrow afternoon. I'm Central Time, so tap in tomorrow afternoon. We'll open up the lines again. We'll take in a fresh, large batch of new musicians and artists and producers and engineers. We'll do the full 30-minute consultations that we're doing right now to really dig into all of the details and the different nuances of what you're doing practically and creatively. So we'll open up the lines again tomorrow. I appreciate the follow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. But yeah, we'll open everything up tomorrow, but this is our final track. We're about to close it up. It's allowed, yeah. I'm not Cody. Thank you for the follow as well. I'm not like super pro or super anti AI. I have a very nuanced approach to, I think, the use of AI. In my opinion, I'll say it's pretty nuanced. The thing that, like, these are long form paid consultations, right? So this is not a fast review. It's not like a free line and a 5 skip. And I play your song and say, yeah, dude, you're super dope. Just definitely like mix your vocal better and have better energy. We move on. Like that's not the structure of what we do. Every time we listen to a song on here, we listen to it for 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. We go through the song like 2 or 3 different times to offer a ton of value, really get into the details and the nuances of what you're doing, the way that you're creating, the way that you approach building your music. And so when it comes to AI, we have people that send in AI every once in a while. I'm perfectly fine with that. The thing that I usually ask, since it is a long form paid service, is just how can I bring value to you? That to me is what I'm looking for, because the whole goal of this live stream is to offer tools, offer value, see if I can help with the building out of your structure and the way that you approach your music, maybe some of your philosophy on the music. So, if I can be of value to you, definitely you can send it in. I just don't want people to send it and not feel like they're getting value, which is harder with AI, obviously, because the way your editability of your music is harder to control. So yeah, that's my only, means of kind of approach right there. All right, let's get into this, Eli.
Taking my glasses, yeah, she took. Taking my glasses, yeah, she took. Taking my glasses off.
I would do, you have good saturation on this vocal right here, Eli. You're still getting some sibilance that's slicing through the mix right there. So I would just make sure after some of your higher pushes of your vocal where you're brightening it quite a bit, add a de-esser to it. You can control some of that sibilance. Again, the sibilance is your S's and T's. Sometimes C's and K's will slice through there a little bit too. So you'll hear like this like kind of warm, saturated vocal. It's got like some overdrive on it. There's some harmonics on it. But then you still hear this slicing through the mix, right? So get a de-esser on there, fine-tune that frequency, lower the threshold until the energy of that S leaves. You still want it there. You don't want to lisp. Wait till just, pull the threshold down until some of that energy leaves. And then that vocal will feel a little bit more natural. It won't be nearly as harsh or brittle to listen to. And you can push it forward without it, hurting people's ears. So you hear how quiet the drums feel underneath that bass? They're like kind of non-existent until the bass leaves for a second, and then you hear the drums a little bit, and then the bass comes in, and the drums leave again. That's why we need to have control over that bass. So it's not triggering any compressors on your buses. It's not triggering your limiter on your master. Nothing like that. We want to make sure that that bass is nowhere near that. It's there. It's heavy. It's prominent. But we got to be able to hear those drums. So we need those drums forward. We need the bass back. We just need to rebalance, and also to just make sure that nothing is triggering your bus or master, compressor, or limiter. Because what happens is that bass kicks in and it squashes everything, and you get everything feeling like it's ducking underneath it. You get that pumping in the background of the mix, which we don't want.
Taking my glasses, yeah, she took. Taking my glasses, yeah, she took. Taking my glasses off. Glasses off. Glasses off.
Like when that bass comes in, that the drums are nearly non-existent. And of course, you have a kind of a little D&B structure in the background too. Like I want that to feel prominent. I want that to feel like it's got some energy behind it. Drums and bass are going to drive this whole thing, but if one outshines the other and takes over the other, then you're going to miss out on some energy. So I would definitely spend a good chunk of your time addressing, of course, fine-tuning symbol and structure for the vocal, making sure the balance and amplitude is there between your samples and your vocal, all that stuff we've already talked about. But I want you to really dig into percussion and bass. That to me is going to be kind of the make or break for this one, because if the drums and bass are really out of balance, it's going to really change the user experience. I'm waiting for the final mix of my songs to be completed. Do you do rock music? Absolutely, yeah. All genres, all levels of preparedness, all quality, all the way across the board. We're closed for today, unfortunately. I would love to hear what you got, but we're closed for today. But we will open up the lines again tomorrow. So I'll be live. I'm Central Time, so tomorrow afternoon we'll open up the lines again, and we'll run probably another 10 tracks or so. You hear how that vocal gets loud, and then it gets stuck behind the bass again. All those elements are happening on your buses and on your master, right? Where that compressor gets triggered, your limiter's getting triggered. And so as soon as all that bass kicks in and everything kicks in, it's like ducking everything behind it. So all you hear is sub. All you hear is like synth bass, right? So that's where you're robbing yourself of a little bit of clarity between your other elements in this mix, your higher end and your mid-level elements in here in this mix, because that bass is triggering everything. And so just, yeah, like we already said, I've reiterated a bunch of times. Thank you for the pros, and thank you for the heart me. Daniel, I appreciate you a lot. I would love to just regain some separation, regain some clarity there. Even if you want a noisy, busy mix, right? Again, some of these genres, electronic genres, like EDM, house, a lot of even like some of the garage and crunchy stuff that we're talking about here, even like hard style stuff. You want it noisy and crazy and distorted and have a lot of energy to it, but you still want separation. You still want to be able to distinguish what's going on to some extent. Same thing there. Listen to how loud the drum break is. Bass comes in, drums are super quiet. Yeah, so y'all show some love to Eli. Eli, I appreciate you sending this in, man. You've got a lot of talent. There's a lot of creative elements to this production. There's a lot of the vocal production that I actually really like. I can appreciate a lot of the processing that you have. Just need some polish, right? Need some control that we can work on pretty easily. But the biggest thing for me is like ground zero, like kind of start fresh, gain staging, amplitude. How loud are these elements? I want before you're adding effects, before you're adding a bunch of crazy things, how loud are these different elements? We need control over loudness. Your early gain staging for all of this stuff. So what I would do, this is a rule that I always apply, and I talk about it every single day, is what are your non-negotiables? What are your non-negotiables in a mix? Like what has to be there? Maybe it's the bass, maybe it's the percussion structure for sure. Maybe it's the vocal and the vocal samples, and like one other synth that has to be in the mix for it to be the song that it is. It carries your melody, it carries your progression and your structure. Turn everything else off, mute everything else, and make sure those 4 or 5 elements are perfect. They're brilliant. They're mixed beautifully. They're positioned where you want them. They're as loud as you want them in the mix. They're controlled, all that good stuff. Get like your non-negotiables exactly where you want them in the mix. And then you have, I have another vocal sample over here. I've got another little, detail over here. I've got a little piano in the background. Then you slowly start to bring in some of these other elements to where they start to fill in the void and fill in the gaps. And then you'd be like, okay, my non-negotiables are really strong. I have the vocal vocal sample on the left side. So maybe now I'm actually going to pan this other synth to the right side. So it's not as muddy. It's not as busy over on the left side. This whole, this huge bass is massive in stereo. So maybe I'm actually going to keep this one little piano like right down the middle or maybe slightly to the left. You start to position because these things have to be here. Everything else is kind of icing on the cake, right? Just kind of polished at the top. So if you can focus on that, man, you're going to be in a great space, man. A great space. Sounds good, man. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. I love and appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for hanging out today. Thank you so much for chilling with us on the live stream, listening to some amazing music. I will be back again tomorrow. We will open up the lines again. We will get a bunch of people up on the board ready to go. So definitely tap in. Make sure that you're following on Twitch, following on YouTube, or subscribed on YouTube. Make sure that you're following here on TikTok. We will open things up again tomorrow. Quick spiel before we hop off for those of you who don't know. My name is Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done it for 14 plus years. If you are interested in any of those services, just shoot me a message on TikTok, on Instagram. You can reach out to me through the website as well, theobsidiankey.com. You can find all of that information at my profile. If you're interested in, session work for synths, electric, acoustic, or bass guitar with live drums, vocals, keys, whatever it may be, shoot me a message. We can work out your budget, your timeline, stuff like that, and hopefully offer you something that will wake up your track a little bit and give you the record that you're looking for. Love and appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for tapping in today. I really appreciate y'all being here. Once again, we'll be live again tomorrow, so definitely tap in then and make sure that you're following. Hopefully, we'll see you all very, very soon.